Summon Sign is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 73 of Summon Sign, Last Stand Media's weekly in-depth game discussion podcast. I'm your host, Brad Ellis, as always, and joining me I have two lovely lads that I've not had on for quite a while, so I'm very excited to talk to them. First of all, we're going to start with Mr. Ben Smith. Ben, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. We talk all the time, I was gone for a week and for work, and then you were gone for a week visiting some family. So now I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever.
I know.
So this is hello, greetings.
Yeah,
it's nice
greetings.
To be here.
Yeah. I think this is the first one you've had you on since your newer job you got, your recent full-time gig. Can you talk about that at all?
Since I was disgraced by Colin.
That's right.
I'm just kidding.
Dragged through the mud.
I can talk about it. Yeah, I'm working with a company called Indie.io. We act as a publisher for like really small indie games. So think like solo devs, first time devs, maybe even college projects that want to get their games on the Steam. And of course, some other, more experienced developers as well. But I think the company technically calls itself a publishing platform because we do fund some titles, but not others. And we like use our resources that we have to help games get out there. It's just easier, though, to call it a publisher because people understand what that means. So, yeah that's what I do. And I'm working on a lot of games.
Yeah.
A lot of games.
Yeah, you're a busy man, dude. Busy man. But I'm glad to have you here. Also, we have a long time favorite of the show, I would say, because no one brings games like this guy ever. Jason Polansky of Atari. Jason, how are you?
I am great. Happy to be here. Been a day. Had jury duty. Got dismissed from jury duty, and then had some work calls, and now I'm here. So doing really, really well. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, I know you said we're doing this a little bit unorthodox, but I do want to jump to this first thing that somebody posted, which was let's see here, Jason. Okay, so it's Pitbull loose in a nursery. Wrote, Jason is always playing made up games. And I love that comment. That comment hits so perfectly because my boss also says I'm playing made up games all the time because I have a very unique taste in Atari as well.
Yeah, you're always playing some obscure shit, but I'm always like, when I see you're playing, I'm always like, damn, cool.
Yeah.
It's getting those deep cuts. I really like it. You guys got to meet in person at PAX, right?
Yeah.
PAX East, or what is it? PAX Prime? I don't know what they call it now.
The one in Boston. Yeah, that's PAX East. Yeah.
PAX Prime's not really a thing they use anymore. I think it's just PAX East, PAX West, and if there's one in Australia, then whatever that's called. PAX Down Under.
PAX Down Under.
Yeah. I think there's still a one, like a tabletop only one, maybe called PAX Unplugged, or is that not a thing anymore? I actually don't even know. But it wasn't like Philadelphia.
Yeah, don't know.
Which is a weird place for it, but
yeah,
we've and I'll talk about this a little bit later too. But Jason and I have talked a few times and become buddies, and we both were working the show and got a chance to hang out and grab lunch together. So
cool.
Yeah, it was good.
How was the show? All right. Tiring?
Tiring. This is like my 10th PAX, I think.
Oh.
PAX East. I've never been to PAX West, actually. This is the first one I've ever like worked at a booth. Every other time I've ever been, it's either been as just a general consumer or as like media, and been working the show in that way. But it's a lot different working the show in that way as compared to like a general consumer, because you have appointments, you walk up, you skip lines, it's great. You're the king. But then this is the first one I've ever done as an exhibitor, and it's just like standing for 11 hours, 4 days in a row. So it's a little different.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This was my second PAX East proper, I'll say. There was a time like maybe 10 years ago, I went to PAX East for one day, just I don't even know why I went. It was with another company. It was a long time ago. Anyway, did that, but otherwise was here. Was there last year? Was there this year? And it was cool. I kind of messed up my leg the first day. Don't know what I did, but basically like the top of my left femur was like in severe pain. And you're just standing for 5 days straight after that. I'm including the breakdown day as well. So, if you came by the booth and I was there doing really weird squats and other stretches and then that's why I was doing that. But overall, it was cool. It was, everything we showed off seemed to hit pretty well. People dug what we were showing. I was largely showing off Fatal Run, which is coming out, and yeah, we had the Bubsy collection, and like so people were coming by and playing Bubsy 3D, which was kind of wild, and like actively enjoying it. One kid showed by and was just playing it for like 30 minutes. Yeah, and right next to that was Jay and Silent Bob, and this game, So the Jay and Silent Bob game, it's all has VO and it's pure Jay and Silent Bob. So you got like Bubsy, which is a platformer aimed at kids, and then right next to that you just hear the most profane things coming out of this game. So really great juxtaposition in the Atari booth.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, I want to say this also. This is a very special episode because, and Jason hinted at this earlier, things are going to be a little different this time around. I just got back from vacation like an hour ago. Like I literally got home an hour ago. So I have not had time to put together a proper document. So what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of read through these posts you guys wrote on Patreon. So we might be a little all over the place, but that's just the way it is today. And also it's 6 p.m., 9 p.m. for these guys right here. So I want to give a shout out to these boys making the time, putting the effort, being awesome, showing up and accommodating me in the show. So thank you guys.
Of course.
Otherwise it'd be me probably alone in a just rambling for 3 hours, but now I got you guys. So
I listened to it.
I was just gonna say I'd listen to it. You gotta get your girlfriend on here sometime.
Yeah, she doesn't really want to do it though that often.
But like, doesn't she love you?
Yeah,
pull that card. You know.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I gotta save that for like a real desperate situation.
Yeah. Speaking of real desperate situations, actually not in any way possible. I was just going to say I'm a little bit jealous of Jason because I have wanted to have jury duty just one time my whole life. Like I just think like I want to be part of that. And then my wife, who like doesn't want to be on jury duty, has been called to jury duty like multiple times when she was in college and she was away, so she couldn't do it, and then like multiple times since. And since she's like primary caretaker for the kids, she's always gotten out of it. I finally got a questionnaire like a couple weeks ago for a federal case, and I was like, oh. And then I filled it out, and I got a response back that they don't need me. So I think it's just not destined to be. So Jason, I know jury duty is a pain in the butt. I hear that from a lot of people, but as someone who actively wants to do it and can't get them to pick me, maybe that's the problem. Maybe I got to stop wanting it so much.
Yeah.
So this is my third time getting summoned. The first time was district. And by the way, that's all in New York or like Brooklyn area, because I've been living here where I do for like almost 15 years, which is kind of hard to imagine. And so first time it was district. I actually did get chosen to sit on a case, and it was kind of wild because it was some like elderly guy playing a drum on a subway and then somehow got into an altercation with some kid, allegedly broke his arm and then resisted arrest. So that was the case we had. It took about 4 days between starting and getting and then giving in a verdict. And then this is the second time I was called to federal jury duty. The first time they tried to get me back out for this one, it was in way out Long Island, which was going to be about I don't have a car. It would have been 4.5 hours by train.
Oh my God.
So I got that deferment, and then they moved it to the courthouse in Brooklyn, which is where I was. And yeah, got dismissed right away. I was a little bit nervous because I'm currently by one of my counterparts at work. I'm actually covering because he's on paternity leave.
Oh man.
And if I had to be out, then it's like, oof, well, who's going to cover me?
Yeah.
So that would have been brutal. Yeah.
Dude.
But all worked out.
I had jury duty right after COVID, and my case was over a month long.
Oh.
And I was reviewing Lost Judgment at the time during that.
Nice.
So it was kind of interesting at the same time.
Yes. Did any of the lawyers look like they could like jump out of a window and then like come back into the window to kick a man? Like
maybe like one,
style.
maybe one or two people, maybe
all
one
right.
or two.
That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a Yakuza game. And I've seen many Yakuza fight bears.
Yeah. Saijima. Yeah. All right, dudes, let's talk about some video games. Jason, we're going to start with you. Promise Macot Agency. Now, before you start talking about all that, I want to read this real quick. Your boy Brad. Oh, this is from Crackling Bones. Your boy Brad, Promise Macot Agency looks great, and from the trailers reminds me of Simpsons Hit and Run. Could you ask Jason to ask Night Dive Studios to remake Simpsons Hit and Run? Please, we all need it. Thanks. All right, so Jason, now you have homework to do.
Yeah, I'll ask him. And I'm sure that's not a licensing nightmare.
Yeah, The Simpsons. Yeah, I'm sure there's no problem there. Well, now you got to deal with Disney, so
right?
I'm sure that's pretty easy.
Perfect, no problem. I'll talk to Stephen Kick. We'll get right to it.
All right, talk to us about this. What the hell is this game?
All right, are either of you familiar with Paradise Killer?
I know the name. That's about it.
Okay, Paradise Killer had a large impact on me because I saw it, the trailer. I'm at a point now in my, let's say, gaming career where I could see a trailer and just say, I'm going to like this game. I'm going to play this game.
Sure. And
Paradise Killer was one of those that hit. And I think a lot of it was because of the killer synthwave soundtrack. And this is made by a company named Kaizen Gameworks and sounds very Japanese, actually British. Look through all the credits of Promise Macot Agency. I think I found 2 Japanese people, or at least 2 Japanese names, but that doesn't matter. They pulled it off. They nailed it. It's great. Paradise Killer, though, in order to talk about Promise Macot Agency, you have to first go back to Paradise Killer. So like I said, I think the soundtrack is one of the definitive features of this game. It was by a guy named Epoch. It was Barry Topping. And it's like an open-ended mystery game where you have to find the killer among this death cult that's trying to create this perfect society. So you're in this paradise island. It's like island number 24, I think. Or like they're basically about to purge island 24 and go to 25. And so they've done this cycle a bunch of times. And basically the order of this cult has been murdered. And you are the detective. Lady Love dies. And you literally start the game by jumping out of your prison in the sky and falling like thousands of feet to land on this island and then get taken to this paradise island in order to find out who the killers of this crime are. And it sounds like it's a big mystery game, and there is. At the core, that game is a large mystery, but the game is actually a open world platformer. Collectathon. Like that's what you're doing, because you start off and you're basically giving your instructions like, hey, Lady Love dies. You need to figure out who killed these people. And then when it comes time for judgment, when you're ready, when you have enough facts, come here, render your verdict. And you can basically murder anybody you want of the whole syndicate, which is the group of people that runs this island. And then that will determine the ultimate fate of the game. So there's no right or wrong answers. You can literally just kill everybody. You don't even have to play the game. You can just go right to court and be like, yeah, I'm good. And you just murder everybody, or say, no, everybody's good. We're good. But it plays out. It's very simple because it's a first person game. It's a platformer. You could unlock these upgrade abilities to, I think, double jump. It's been a little while since I played it, but you go to these what is it? Like these like onsen like places to get, or these hot springs. That's it. And then that unlocks new traversal abilities. So you could find more lore about the island, find more clues, engage with these people, talk to them. So it dabbles in a little bit of visual novel, but you never really talk to anybody for more than 5 minutes at a time. And then you find secrets and you find all these mysterious people. And then you can actually unveil the entire conspiracy behind the thing and actually know what really happened. But that's also optional in a game that's all about running around exploring and jamming out to kick-ass synthwave music. So that's a little bit of precursor. I do want to talk about that game and recommend it to everybody because it's awesome. But this game, Promise Macot Agency, goes back to my point, which is I saw this trailer. I think it was at a Nintendo Direct, maybe is when it first showed up. And once I saw Kaizen Gameworks, I said, I'm in. They got me with Paradise Killer. They're going to get me with any game they make moving forward. It was a lot more chill. It was a lot more grungy. Paradise Killer was like soaked in pastels and bright colors. And this was a lot of browns and darkness. But then you watch this trailer. And if you watch the trailer to this game, you would have no idea what the hell you do in this game. And similarly to Paradise Killer, what seems like this elaborate Yakuza mystery / simulation game is ultimately an open world platformer that you happen to drive a car around this kind of sleepy island in Japan. But to go through it here, you play as Michi, who has to fake his death following a Yakuza deal gone wrong. And this is a world where it is populated by mascots. So one of the first times you see, the opening, you're getting introduced to the Yakuza family that you're in. And there's just this big finger looking guy who's like this big muscular mascot. And he's just chilling in this group of traditional Yakuza people. And he's just there. They don't acknowledge that he's a mascot. It's just kind of another race in this world. So anyway, deal goes wrong and you get banished to a town that has a curse that allegedly kills Yakuza members. And you have to earn back the $12 billion that you lost for the family by running this mascot agency. So you first meet Pinky, and Pinky has turned this agency into a love hotel. And right when you meet Pinky, you get a description here, and I got my Switch. By the way, I've taken more screenshots in this game than any game I've ever played before in my life because this game is so outlandish all the time and always nails its writing. So here, rather than try to summarize it, I'll just say what Pinky says. And by the way, I'll just flash my screen so you can say, hey, what does Pinky the mascot look like? Well, Pinky looks like this. If you're watching on YouTube, let's see if that comes through. I don't know if that does. Probably not. Looks like shit. But whatever. Look it up.
He looks horrifying. I'm looking at the trailer of him.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go. Welcome to the world of mascots. Mascots were born from the earth a hella long time ago and live alongside humans. We've got everything humans have: feelings, problems, questionable biology, and an existential fear of a beyond we can't comprehend. Some of us also have weird abilities or supernatural powers. My mom was a fairy mascot, and my deadbeat absentee father was a severed finger. So I inherited a little bit of sparkly magic and an inner void. You're about to enjoy a wonderful summer in a cursed town, but first you need to see what's happening in Japan's underworld. So that's how the game starts. All right.
Damn.
Yeah, it's good shit. Yeah. And so yeah, it's pretty awesome. So that's the setup, right? And the game, I wouldn't call it a cozy game, but it is a cozy game to play. Okay. It's super chill because, like I said, it's just a collectathon. You're driving around in a car and you're finding things in this big map. And there's a light simulation element to it as well. So you basically, one of the things you're collecting in your car are mascots. You will find a bunch of unemployed mascots that you can recruit and add them to your agency. And then once they're available, you can send them on jobs. And these jobs will often have, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, you send them on these jobs, and through the jobs, they could earn money and fans. And then you could use the money to upgrade your agency. You can, at some point, you can unlock blueprints to upgrade the town. You interact with a bunch of the townspeople. And all of this is just engaged by either menus or driving around in your car. And your car can be upgraded to eventually like ride on water, to boost better. You can fly at some point with the glider. And what's funny is like you unlock the ability to float in water and drive better on water, but you could float in water from the beginning. So it's a little strange. Oh, the car could also jump.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Because you never know. Like when you chase down upgrades for the parts, they're these kind of I don't remember what he calls them, but I guess they're blueprints of sorts that run away. So they're spirits that run away. So you can, so like so sometimes they'll jump over your car. So you have to jump to intercept them because you're chasing these things down. So yeah, you recruit the mascots, you find them in the world. You then have to negotiate your terms with them on how they're going to be compensated. So the percentage of each job they get on top of the baseline, whether they can take vacation, whether you pay them a bonus, or whether you like renegotiate their contract, it's all super basic. And then every number of jobs you run, you pay a bonus, negotiate the terms, and then that'll raise their happiness. So you want to keep them happy. You want to keep them employed because they also have stamina. So they have very stamina. Anyway, it sounds more complicated than it is, but it's all super easy. Super easy. And there's even a card battle mechanic to it. So mid jobs, and this is some of the zaniest that you might have seen in the trailer, mid jobs, things can go wrong. So you can get items that you could equip before that could reduce the odds of things going wrong. But the first thing that happens, and you'll see this in the trailer, is your first mascot that you recruit, whose name is Tofu. Tofu is described as never stops crying, but that's part of his charm. Treated badly by punks that need a damn good kicking, if you ask Pinky. Tofu's kind of this disturbed individual, but the first thing Tofu does when he goes on a job is he encounters a normal-sized door, and these are kind of the things that you'll encounter in the game. Slightly crooked footpath is another thing. A playful dog. And then when all these things happen, it enters this very light card battle mechanic where all of these cards that you've collected in the world, which are called hero cards, they have various attributes. So they might have let's say like a paw print as an attribute, right? Then some characters are going to be strong with those. And then you play them to reduce the health bar of the obstacle that you're playing against. Online Freaks is also one of them. Like I said, I took a lot of screenshots. So I got these. A stage more fragile than life is another one. But I don't want to go too much into this because it's the surprise of the silliness that happens. But yeah, you basically get in this loop of doing jobs, making money, improving the agency, and just moving forward this insane story that is just super charming and just nails it with everything it's trying to do. I'd say if there's one place it falters, it's just, I mentioned how easy it was. That is the biggest problem, is that the game is way too easy. At the beginning, you might be like, oh my God, I don't have any money. How am I going to choose? Like, you're really thinking about how you're going to negotiate with these guys, where then you could break the systems almost immediately. Like within 2 hours of playing the game, money becomes trivial. Like you'll have a situation where you need to start sending money to your boss. Otherwise she's going to get killed. And it's like this bar that slowly degrades over time. The thing was never lower than 50%. So it's like, yeah, sure. Here's a $500,000 yen. Go for it. It's fine. So that was really cool. Also, I don't know if the thumbnail's already been created, but I just want to highlight my favorite. My favorite mascot is one named Neko Roll. It's basically a cat in a green tea Swiss roll. And this thing's adorable. So if there's room for request, I would personally request to have my face put in Neko Roll. Or on Neko Roll, Also, some of this art Pinky is one of the greatest characters that's been in gaming. The expressiveness of her is so funny. And the way that she can just transform. The game uses very simple 2D assets when it's showing off its characters. And the most expressive of them is Pinky, who will go from super cheery, bubbly, cutesy looking to then that what's reminiscent of when they do the close-up hyper realistic SpongeBob art in those. You know what I mean?
Stimpy thing.
Yeah. So big veins popping out and getting seriously crazy. So yeah, this game is wild. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it if you're looking for something kind of chill and just completely off the wall and kind of unlike anything I've ever played before. Because like I said, even if you just look at it as, hey, it's a collect-a-thon in a car. There's fishing is just you're fishing. It's like you press a button and you fished. The only other component to the game, minigame wise, is a crane game. There's a crane game that you unlock, and that's how you can unlock merch that you sell. So to get more fans and money, which again is trivial. So by that point in the game, I didn't really need to do that.
I put in a request to Dustin, a note to make you Neko roll.
Yes.
So
Hell yeah.
hopefully he sees this and gets it on there. Yeah. I'm curious though. So you talked about this and also Paradise Killer. Which one would you recommend people start with?
It really depends. Like, it depends what you're looking for in a game, right? Like I could call, point here, point there, right? Soundtrack, this game is nothing like it. Whereas Paradise Killer has probably my favorite video game soundtrack of all time, where I will continue to listen to it. Epoch actually released a new album recently, and I think it was like end of last year, which basically felt like a sequel to Paradise Killer without the game. And I listened to that. I listened to that thing so much. It was great. So if you want something to like vibe to with music and you love synthwave, then I can't recommend Paradise Killer highly enough. It's also super twisted and dark in its themes. And if you want like a murder mystery, then go towards Paradise Killer. Also, if you prefer first person platforming, then go with that. If you want something a bit more cozy and explicitly zany, then go with Promise Macot Agency. It's not even close. Like, the game also is more linear in its storytelling as opposed to Paradise Killer, which leaves things more open-ended.
Okay.
It's also way more refined. I think they definitely learned a lot more and got a lot tighter.
Sure.
Also, I should say, I played both of these games on Switch, but they're on everything. And the game, it was good enough on Switch. But I've watched videos of the game on other platforms just to compare. And I'll say, if you have the option, which I do, but I wanted to play portably, I generally prefer to play portably. And I like my portable consoles portable. So as opposed to the Steam Deck, which I call just barely portable, then it's very functional on Switch, but it definitely runs a lot better on other consoles. So there's that.
You got your Switch 2 pre-ordered?
I do. Yeah. Funny story about that. It went on. So I'm on the East Coast, so it was midnight, right? And I had a hockey game to playing, not watching. I was playing a hockey game that started at 11:30 at night.
Oh man. So
I brought my phone to the bench and was looking at the clock. Like, I think I went out on a shift at about 11:58. And then there's like a quick whistle. I'm looking like, no, I could do another few seconds. Then like I basically like Superman over the boards to jump on my phone and try to get a pre-order. I had both. I have like one of the folding phones. So I have like
his phone is ginormous.
So I had Best Buy on one side and Walmart on the other.
Oh, one of those phones. Okay.
Yeah. So I was able to do that and try to get both. And at this point, right? The Best Buy pre-order didn't really go up until basically the end of the game. And my team was like, no, go out there. I'm like, instead of me trying to just sit there and try to pre-order this thing. But eventually the thing lit up right before we got off. And that's when I got online. So I'm like on the handshake line after the game while holding my phone, waiting in queue at Best Buy to get get the console. Then I realized it wasn't the Mario Kart bundle, but I said, screw it, who cares? Yeah. And to be honest, I'm more interested in playing Fast Fusion than Mario Kart World. I said it. Okay. NF0 GX. I'll play that again. That game rocks.
You gonna play what's the fucking basketball game?
Oh, why does nobody mention Murder Ball? Like, that game's it's Murder Ball, the game.
Murder Ball, yeah.
Drag and Drive. Didn't even look it up.
Drive.
Just appeared. Yeah. No is the answer to that question.
Yeah. It's like the answer for no everyone.
I don't even know where I would play it. I don't want to play that on my. I don't want to like
rolling it on your leg, dude. In
that sounds. Yeah, that's gonna be me on the train. You know what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get one of those. They have like those brackets that go around your neck to hold a tablet in front of you.
Yes,
I'm gonna get one of those. Sit on the train and just be that guy. Like, just kind of roll it.
Jason, I wanted to say that the trailer, I pulled this up on Steam, and the trailer, the opening piece of the trailer for Promise Macot Agency is a quote from PC Gamer that says, "Totally fucking absurd." Yeah, that sounds like exactly what you described. And then the second thing is, if I had just seen this game like in passing, which I may have and didn't realize it, there's not a chance I would have been interested. But hearing you describe it and then talking about those management sim type things, I'm like, maybe I could see it. it's so interesting that the game like presents nothing like it is, at least at a glance.
Yeah, and there's a clear juxtaposition between the characters that you meet and their motivations, because all the mascots you meet are unique. So you meet this one guy whose name is Trororo, and he says, this is a quote from the game here, "I want to promote safe AV, adult video, consumption and start a new streaming site where everyone gets paid fairly for producing safe AV." So like his whole motivation is just it's just like porn. That's and if you look up this picture, it's just like a cute cat. My camera's doing a terrible job picking this up. It's great. And then and also it's clear imagery that like Pinky is a severed finger of a mascot, even has like blood at the bottom. And your main character, Michi, the first thing he does is cut off his finger. So it's like, Pinky completes him. You get it? Do you get it? Do you get it?
There is no way you will ever be able to convince me this is not a Japanese game. I know you said it wasn't.
I know. Yeah, they commit. It's also fully voiced in Japanese. There's no English dub option that I could find or even wanted to look for, because they're all Japanese people.
I'm convinced this is an actually Japanese developer, and they're trying to disguise themselves as Westerners.
Look at the credits, man. This is a bunch
of bamboozled.
Maybe that's fine. It's like that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Whatever it is,
no problem.
Good games come from anywhere, and this and they nailed it. Whatever they were trying to do, it's just like the Ghost of Tsushima thing, right? except with way more pervy mascots.
That's right.
I also like that they give shine to Fukuoka, which is a city that is quite delightful in Japan and a not as obvious tourist spot. Yeah, exactly. Not as well known. I've been. It's very nice.
Cool. Very nice. There's one insane Jason game already. We got more to come.
They're not as insane as that. It's fun. It's all downhill from here.
Well, a lot of these games I'd never heard of. Here's another one. Ben, Demon Turf. What is this?
Demon Turf. Okay. So I was at PAX and I didn't have a lot of time away from my booth, but I did get to meet a few devs. And I met these guys from a studio called Febreze. It's not Febreze, but Febreze. And they were showing off their game that's going to be coming out soon called Demon Tides, which is, I got to play like 10 minutes of the demo, had to run my booth. It was a whole thing. Really, really promising in my opinion. But I found out they had also made a game called Demon Tides. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. The game that they were showing off was Demon Turf. The game that they had already made was called, I'm getting this mixed up again.
Yeah, they're showing Demon Tides.
They were showing Demon Tides. They already worked on Demon Turf.
Yeah.
Febreze got it in my brain or something there.
These
guys were really cool, first of all. They were really, what did you say?
It's like a new Whippet.
Yeah.
You're just going to be huffing Febreze, and it makes you mix up game orders.
Yes. They're really cool guys and had a lot of good stuff to say. But I sat down to play the new game and knew I had to play the first game. Demon Turf came out about 4 or 5 years ago, and it is a 3D platformer. And when I say 3D, the world is 3D, but most of the characters are like almost 2D. It's almost gives you like a Paper Mario sensation where the characters are kind of like turn and you can just see one side of them or the other. Very cutely animated everything, but you play as a little demon named Beebs. And the entire point of the game is that Beebs is trying to like take down the bigger demons, the demons who are higher up in authority. And you wouldn't guess this is really a game about demons because it's really cute and like charming, but there's also a lot of fire and death and falling. So maybe there is some demon stuff there. And basically Beebs is trying to claim the Demon Queen title. The unique part about this game that I wanted to point out is that this is a platformer through and through. There is so much precision platforming in this game that even I'm having a hard time. And I say even I because like I like to think I'm pretty good at platformers. Like I've played a million platformers in my life and always been decent at them. And even I'm struggling a little bit. but that's a testament to the game. It's not because the game is made poorly. It's because it's really like a lot of precision. I think, as a matter of fact, on their listing on Steam, they describe it specifically as an expressive platformer, which I think is maybe a term they invented, but I like to think that they're going to start a new wave or something here. But there are a couple different move sets that you have as Beebs. You can jump, you can double jump, you can jump and then like turn into a little spinny demon thing and then jump again. You can punch. You can do the little tornado thing while you're on the ground and be able to attack enemies and stun them so that you can punch them and knock them off of ledges or knock them out or kill them or whatever the case is. And you just progress through these different worlds. There is like a big hub world, which admittedly is a little bit tough, or was tough for me to kind of get my head into at first. The hub world was a little bit, I felt like it was a little bit bloated in the fact that like I had to search for a little too long to get into each individual level. But once you figure out where you're going, it's pretty simple from there. It's really good. I'm probably like, I don't know, 5-ish hours into the game I've played and completed a lot of it. There are some really cool challenges. There are collectibles, and this game like screams. And I assume there is a community around speedrunning. There's a lot of like, it even gives you like a listing of your times and encourages you to beat those times and everything. That's not my thing, at least not the first time I play through a game, and I'm not normally interested in speedrunning because I'm bad at it, and that's the reason, not any other reason. I'm just gonna be honest about it. I'm just bad at speedrunning, but it's just really cool. It's very well made, and as someone who, like I said earlier, has been playing platformers literally since I can remember, there's something different about this one.
All right, boys, my turn. So I have been on vacation, so I haven't gotten to play a whole lot of stuff, but it was a great opportunity for me to finally bust out my 3DS and play some old games on it. And I started with one that I've been meaning to play for a while, particularly because Micah is a big fan of this game, which is Kirby's Triple Deluxe. My history with Kirby is I started on Kirby on the Game Boy, and I've been playing a lot of them. Like, Jason, I'm sure you played Kirby Superstar back in the day.
Played a lot of Kirby games. Yeah. My favorite Kirby game is actually probably an unsung hero of the Kirby games. I mean, obviously the last one that just came out was Killer and Planet Robobot, but Kirby Pinball on the Game Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Underrated gem. Because that was the first time I got to play a boss fight in a pinball game. It kicked ass.
Mm-hmm. That is cool. Ben, quickly, what about you with Kirby? Anything?
Yes. Lots of things. I've played Kirby. I have this. I should have just grabbed it out of my the cabinet in there. But I have this game. I played it when they came out. And I played many Kirby games. The only funny thing is the most recent one, which my son bought and said it was awesome, I have not played, even though I literally just could.
Was it Forgotten Land or was it a different one?
The newest one that came out for Switch.
I think it's Forgotten Land.
Forgotten Land.
Yeah, that one's actually really good. I was surprised because with Kirby, I'm always like, Kirby's good.
Yeah.
That's about it. It's good. I like it. It's fun, but it never blows me away or anything like that. Kirby Forgotten Land.
The newest one was too easy.
They are very easy games. They all are, pretty much.
I knew the old ones were, but.
Yeah, but like. So I'm playing Triple Deluxe right now, and like the other Kirby games, it's pretty damn easy. But what I will say is something I've noticed just kind of off the rip what these is, or this game is, something that helps separate it. They take big use or liberties with the 3D. You know, first party, always going nuts with that kind of stuff. And it works really well, actually. I guess it depends with the 3DS. Some people like the 3D. Some people really dislike it. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. And it works well here. Like, a lot of stuff are kind of in, like, the background. Like, for instance, you're going through, like, a stage or whatever, and, like, someone's, like, chopping down a tree, and the tree will, like, fall into you. There's these hands that push out, like, on timers, and if Kirby gets hit by it, Kirby, like, hits your screen and slides down, and it looks really good. But it's got a lot of the basic Kirby stuff you've been doing since Game Boy, you know, sucking up guys, getting some new powers, a lot of the classics, you know, like if you played Kirby Superstar, that he has like the little clown hat and the little rod that he shoots, all that stuff, the bomb, the ninja, the fire guy. So all that kind of stuff is there. One thing I'm not sure if this is unique to this game or not, because I've not played every Kirby game, is there is this fruit that pops up occasionally. It reminds me of like you in Super Mario Wonder. Did you guys ever play that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How like that Wonder fruit would just pop up and everything would start tripping out. Like it just kind of happen in levels occasionally. There's something like that in this game, and it's this fruit that like gives Kirby Omega suck powers, where he can like suck up really huge stuff. And I mean really huge stuff. Take that how you will. Whatever you want.
Kirby's sucking up stuff and he's got a little rod is all I've heard you say so
That's
far.
That's right. Like there's like trains you're sucking up, like huge guys. So it definitely gives you that strong sense of power, that Kirby power suck up fantasy.
Is this lockbait? Is that what this is?
No.
Okay.
Kirby, he probably won't even bother because it's Kirby. He'd be like,
doesn't matter. You haven't said there was plenty of words removed from
True.
Suck up and Kirby.
True. He just did work on one, so maybe he's ready to come back, but I'm not sure. But like I'm maybe halfway through the game. I only played it on my plane ride, but I had a good time. I don't know what else to say really. Like it's Kirby. You kind of know what you're getting with these games, except Forgotten Land. Definitely, or Forgotten Land really elevated the series. I felt like quite a bit. But this is definitely more in line with the old school Kirby's. Like if you like those old Kirby games, like I was saying, like Kirby Superstar, maybe even Kirby 64, stuff like that, pretty basic. But I enjoy going through the levels. The only thing is with like the levels, there are optional things to get, like stars equivalents and stuff like that to open doors later on to like bosses. But everything's pretty easy. There's nothing like super creative where I'm like, oh, I really had to think right there. There's this couple cool parts, I guess, where you have to like set off a fuse and like tilt the 3DS to like line up certain stuff. So they really go in and all that kind of stuff, like the motion controls, which people either love or hate. But it's a solid game so far. I do want to finish it, but so far it's just kind of in line with what I expect from Kirby. I'm just like, okay, solid, but nothing amazing.
Did you play Robobot?
No, I haven't played that one.
Okay. Are you just going in order so you could have the lore before you get the DLC?
No. It's nothing about that. Like I've played many Kirby games throughout my life. I just was on a plane and I was like, Micah likes this Kirby game. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
There is no Kirby lore, okay?
I know. It was a joke. I was not serious about that.
King Dedede or whatever. He gets captured in this game. That's it.
I just like taking the Colin logic to the next level and being like,
yeah. I need all the Kirby lore there is possible right now.
You're like, oh man, they're coming out with DLC for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Well, I got to play through all the Kirbys to get up to date.
To understand everything. I need the Meta Knight.
But I'll still buy it immediately.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I did actually just rebuy, you talked about Switch 2 earlier. I just rebought Forgotten Land because I did love it, but sold it because I'm like, well, I'm never going to play this game again. Yeah. And because they're doing the update, pro tip, there's like, I think going to be a $10 update for the game to get Switch 2 compatibility and the DLC
I think
or something.
It's 20 because it comes with extra content.
Okay, maybe it's $20, but the base game on Switch is constantly on sale for $40 on Woot. So be on the lookout.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that instead of paying like what? $70, however much they'll charge you, or $80.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because Breath of the Wild, I think, is $90 with everything.
I'm going to add a sorted out based on what you just said.
Let me read this from Caleb Peacock. Boys, you're the big fat, I think he means obese pink blob himself. Who are you sucking up to gain their power? Or are you just sucking for fun? Thanks.
God damn.
All right. Ben, who are you sucking up for power or pleasure?
Well, point of clarification. This is a follow-up from the last Sacred episode where somebody asked who they would put. So it's like you had the ability to put obesa, or like obese saga on members of the LSM
dude, what the
team.
Fuck are these people talking about? So what are you guys doing, man?
They're basically saying, who would you cast obesity on? and you could put like the triple
like
obesity on one
spell. Like
yeah, exactly. That's right. So that's what this is saying. This is basically saying like you're the big fat obese saga pink blob himself. So maybe he's talking about Kirby. It's possible. I assume that's the case. And he's just calling Kirby the big obese saga.
Thank you for listening to Sacred Symbols to clarify that, because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm simultaneously grateful that you listened to it, and also, what is wrong with those people?
You know what? It's entertaining enough.
I have no idea. I'm gonna say Cloud for a couple of reasons. All right.
Okay.
I think Cloud would be pretty funny, gigantic, still swinging that sword around, wobbling around those little feet. That's not a very clever answer, but that's the one I'm going to give.
No, I like it. Okay.
I mean, I guess the question is, you're in what is the goal of sucking up some person for their powers or some character for their powers? Like, am I in a dire situation? Do I need their ability? Am I in a Smash Brothers battle?
Like I said,
or is it just everyday life?
Be for an emergency or purely pleasure.
All right, then I'm let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll. Hang on, I'm trying to think. I'm sucking up Alexander Ovechkin. Okay. I'm going to have his hockey prowess, and then I won't be short and bad at hockey.
But we'll still be obese.
A video game character. If I did it with real people,
I figure anybody's on the table. You're telling me that guy doesn't have a superpower of playing hockey? I figure anybody's on the table. We're talking about video game characters. Well, I don't know. I got to think about it. Brad, what do you got? Did you say already? Let me think about it some more.
Suck up? That's a good question.
Who you sucking up?
I don't know. I think I'm going to suck up Chris.
Oh,
so I can feel what real pain is. Like him.
Oh, my God.
And sorrow.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think. Like, what's if this situation? I don't know. Monokuma, because I just want to see what a black and white Kirby looks like. I want to see a Monokuma Kirby.
Monokuma, yeah.
A Mono Kirby.
Mono Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't give me any power, but it would look cool.
Can I suck up like Alexander the Pot Boy from Elden Ring or something like that?
That would look cute.
You're not changing shape.
Right.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I'm like looking at all the games I played, and like there's a bunch of boring ass no power games. Have any of you played Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sand?
I played a little bit of that actually.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a really specific power where it's all based on sand.
Yeah, it's like, I remember you just like slide down sand a lot or surf on it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Now I think about it, like a lot of these guys with powers, probably a villain. Probably a villain is more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why we got to take stupid things like Chris Raygun.
Maybe like a persona. Maybe like I suck up like one of the demons.
Oh, you could get the dick demon.
Oh yeah, dude, the dick on the wheelbarrow. Which one is that?
Yeah, like the chariot or whatever.
Let's see here. Which one is that? Yeah, Mara.
Yeah,
let's do that. That's fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. That's a good one. I think that's the winner so far.
Yeah. I think we did it. We answered the question. We found the right answer.
Let me see here. This is from Ding Dong. Hey, Brick Fisters. I saw Brad playing Kirby Triple Deluxe the other day, and it caught my attention. I mostly know Kirby from a couple old GBA games and from Smash Bros. So I went down a little rabbit hole and checked out some gameplay. It looks pretty simple at first glance. Very colorful, playful, almost like something you need or hand to your younger sibling. I saw someone 100% speedrun it on YouTube in around 4.5 hours, which made me curious. I'm a fan of platformers, but I'm still on the fence. Is there more to this game than just cute visuals? What's the deal with this pink ball suck, and why should we care? Sell me on it. Also, shout out to Atari. Keep up the great work. You're killing it. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, that's so you gotta save those shout outs for later. That's too much. Can't gas Jason up too much already.
Okay? Did it say? I just have to clarify. Did it say ball suck or ball sack? Because it doesn't.
I thought it said ball suck, but
I just looked. It says ball sack, Brad.
Oh, it says ball sack. Okay, well there you go.
I think it makes a big
balls.
difference in the presentation.
Not to me. Ball sack, ball suck, whatever. I don't give a shit. A little pink idiot. But Kirby's a very simplistic kind of like platformer. It is very much like if you have like a younger sibling or whatever, like my nieces and nephews, for instance, I would pitch Kirby. Pretty chill, pretty simple, hard for them to get lost. But you could still have a good time playing something like that. If you're looking to be challenged, probably not it. At least the older ones. But if you're looking to just have a good time, relax maybe smile for once in your life, give it a go. You might have some fun.
You said he watched a speed run, and I'm like, that must be one of the most boring speed runs ever because it's just the game.
He's so slow.
Yeah, well, that too.
Kirby's such a slow moving character all the time. Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, man. Headphones are fucked up. Stand by. There we go. Okay.
Also, thank you, Ding Dong.
Ding Dong. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. All right, boys. Sorted out time. Sorry. Sorted out right now for us. Jason, you were panicking earlier. You got one. You got a new one?
Yeah, I got two.
Two? Okay.
Yeah, we're talking Switch 2. I'll keep this one brief. I'm confused by people who are alarmed at some of the Switch 2 pricing and the upgrade stuff, specifically when it comes to Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Because the conversation is, oh, I can't believe the game is $70 when it came out as $60. It's like, well, the game was always $60. It's still $60, and they're charging $10 for the upgrade. And then the conversation was, I can't believe all the DLC is not included. It's like, well, the game is literally still $60. Therefore, the DLC is still the cost of the DLC,
mm-hmm.
and the upgrade price is still $10. Nothing's changed. This is Nintendo. They never drop the prices of their game. They're not saying it's something else. They were very clear. So if you're mad and disappointed, that's really on you. For games that have depreciation and actually have Game of the Year editions and, here's the big ultra version with all the stuff we released, cool. But they never had to because the game kept selling. Therefore, it was always $60. So if you want to save money, wait every, maybe twice a year when they discount it by 10%. Yeah. So that whole conversation was very confusing to me. So sort that out. But the real sort it out. Unless you want to react to that, Ben, you were nodding, so I guess you're in agreement here with me. Or?
No, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. Like, I'm the kind of person that if I see a Nintendo game come out that I want, which is almost all of them, almost all first-party Nintendo games, because I'm a child, I just buy it. Like, even if I can't play it right now, because it's like if I don't buy it now, if I wait a year, is it going to be cheaper? No. Maybe I could get it, on eBay or something secondhand, or pick it up at GameStop for $5 off and it has a giant used sticker on it. But no, so I mean, do I understand some of the frustration with the different pricing and maybe a little bit of the pricing confusion that's been surrounding the conversation of Switch 2? Do I understand it? Yes. Do I, like everybody else, have a limited budget to spend on everything, let alone video games, which, by the way, is my career and a love of mine? Yes, I still understand. Does it make sense from a business perspective and Nintendo track record? Absolutely. Why is anyone surprised or confused or anything that they would make their games as much as they can justify? That doesn't make it sucks. I get it, but that's just.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I would prefer to not pay as much money as the games are. But when they're like, it doesn't even come with everything, it's like, it's still the same game.
Yeah.
The game hasn't changed. That's my largest frustration here. But the big sorted out is Xenoblade Chronicles X Chapter 13 in particular.
Okay.
I'm a big Xenoblade Chronicles fan. All right, I don't know if you know this about me. Love Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, 3. Played one multiple times. Actually, the first time I played it was on the new 3DS, which is arguably the worst place to play it.
Yeah.
But I did, and I loved it. And then I played it again in the definitive edition, played 2 day 1, played 3 day 1. 3 became one of my favorite games of all time. So I was hyped when X was coming back because I never played it on the Wii U. I played 3 games on the Wii U, and that was Bayonetta 2, Wind Waker HD, and Mario 3D World, which is wildly underappreciated, and I'll play that
Great
again
game.
on Switch.
Yeah,
I can't. That's getting a Switch 2 upgrade. Oh yeah, I'm gonna play
it. Already. Oh yeah, Switch 2 upgrade. Yeah, I think it is actually.
It is for sure. Yeah, they said it's one of the free upgrades, so totally on board for that. Anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles X was very hyped for it because I never played it on Wii U. Wanted to complete the whole thing, and Chapter 13 is the new edition for the definitive edition of it. Addition for it, you get it. Anyway, I go through 12 chapters of this game, and I was like, cool. So I probably have one chapter left. No, first of all, the structure of this thing. It is 3 acts. It is the only chapter in the game that's 3 acts, and it expands the story. If I played Xenoblade Chronicles X back in the day, a game that ended on a cliffhanger, I would be pissed if I waited this long to get that conclusion, because it is nonsense for a game that is a series that has a lot of wild ideas and nearly always, I'd say, sticks the landing with great writing, solid characters, all that stuff. This one was just like fan fiction. Where are we even going with this? I don't know. Let's just make a bunch of really cool mech battle sequences, and they are cool in the cutscenes, but my God, what a mess. What a mess of, of a closer. And maybe part of it's my fault because my backlog has gotten very big over the last few months, and I was ready to get to some other stuff. And by the time I was hitting hour like 65, 70, 75, 80, I was like, just end. Please just end. You're not even making it interesting for me to end. At least there was intrigue. Like the story's pretty light in X. And then I guess in Chapter 13, they're like, yeah, but what if we tried to do something with this? It's like, no, keep it kind of doing your cool exploration thing on this planet. But no, they like jump the shark and then some. And I'm not going to spoil anything that happens, but every time they tried to pander, I'm like, no, I'm not into that. And just the whole thing they tried to say, I was like, this is just silly. It's just a bunch of silly nonsense. So happy I played it, liked the game overall, had a great time, but man, that ending really and not just the ending. I mean, that whole 3-act structure of Chapter 13. Oof. If that was 5 hours, I'd be like, okay, cool. You give me 5 extra hours. Good. And even if the story was lame, I wouldn't feel as burned. But if you're dragging out something, like I have to finish it. I've come this far. I have to finish it. The payoff is just so lame. It's so lame. Anyway, sort it out. Xenoblade, whatever's next, I'm going to buy. All right. Whatever Monolith's going to come out with next, I'm going to buy. I'm very excited. I could tell this was probably like the, what was it? The future, whatever the DLC of
Future
one was.
Right. I remember that.
Future Connected. Like maybe it's those guys. It's not bad. It's more Xenoblade. Always have fun playing it. Had fun playing this.
You're just kind of
just over it. Just over it. 10 hours before I was done, I was over it.
So yeah, I get that.
There it is.
All right, Ben, what about you?
My sorted out is for, and I'm going to say specifically for PAX attendees, but for convention attendees in general. And there's a lot of things wrong with a lot of people, right? This isn't about that. My specific gripe is for people who go to conventions, and again, I'm singling out PAX in this instance, who go to conventions, who pay an admission fee to go in and stand in line to buy merch for the event that they're attending. Not a joke. People will go to PAX, and PAX is an anomaly. You see this at other conventions. Sometimes you see like people go into toy shows and pay $40, $50 so they can go in and shop. Like I've done it too. Okay, I get it. Maybe you're going to find something cool. But for you to go to a convention, specifically PAX, and go to the merch line to buy a shirt that basically says, hey, I was at PAX, and stand in line for literally hours of your day. It's just wild to me. Now, don't get me wrong, the merch is pretty cool, but like if you're somebody who buys a 1-day pass and spends half your day in the line, what are you doing? Who is this merch for? Why are you showing off I was at PAX when you stood in the merch line for all that time? And I've seen this years and years I've gone to PAX and again other conventions. Again, PAX is cool, the people who go are cool, the merch is cool, it's all good. But like people who go and stand in line for 4 and 5 hours, line up early ahead of the convention hall opening up, to stand in line, to wait for the merch line to open up, to then stand in it for longer. It's got to be a better way, guys.
Yeah.
It's got to be a better way. And also, this is just a general cheapskate opinion. The merch is too expensive to stand in line for 5 hours. I'm not saying the merch isn't quality. Merch isn't expensive because it is what it is. It's like Nintendo, right? You can only get it from them. It's a limited time, whatever. But like, don't pay $100+ a day to go to a convention to then pay $100+ for a jacket or something. That's wild to me. Just something I don't understand at all. Sort of.
Follow up on that, because this was the first, I remember last year, and I believe at PAX West as well, they would let the people working, like the exhibitors, they would open up that line for exhibitors prior to the show opening up. They did not do that this year.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to buy anything, but I know a lot. I saw some people going off. I was like, usually that line's open. I would at least browse. Browse.
And I mean, like, it's also crazy because they sell out of stuff. Maybe not the first or the second day, but like they are selling out of stuff.
Yeah.
And people will wait in line for hours and get there and realize they don't have what I wanted, so they'll just buy something else. That's also crazy to me. I'm like, if they don't have what I wanted first, I mean, I wouldn't have stood in that line anyway, but if they didn't have what I wanted, I wouldn't have just bought something I didn't want just to get something because I stood in line. The whole thing is crazy to me. It's insane.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I did buy I bought a Gamescom shirt 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Had a cute cat on it.
How
Didn't
long
wait
did
in
that
line
take?
for it though.
That long?
No time, because I was there during the business days.
Oh,
there was
okay.
no line.
Yeah.
So before, and they also have like unique artists doing it every year.
Yeah.
So I didn't get anything last year, but I got something the year before. It's like Gamescom had a cute cat on it.
Nice.
I when I went to the Final Fantasy VII orchestra, concert, it was like I expected that merch line to be really long, and they had some great stuff. But I remember people in line like right next to me, like, "Oh, they're out of everything. What do they have left? I want that." Like, just the intentionality of a purchase to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have that, and maybe it's just because I'm fine now, but I've come from times where I've had very little money, and if I wanted something, I wanted that thing. But just people being like, "Oh, I came for this specific thing, and they don't have that. I'll buy whatever they have." I'm like, I don't get it.
Sure, yeah, like settling for something else.
I'll shout out the home team here at Atari and say, like, we had a PAX shirt that actually sold out day one.
Wow.
And then we were quickly able to spin it up and get a link online. So we were like, look, if you want to buy it, just go online. You don't have to wait online, just get it. And that was on sale for like 3 days for PAX, and it was done. It's like that's a good alternative, because it's like, hey, you're still going to get your money. Like, you're still going to get the thing.
You actually probably make more because you're not paying a cut as much.
Right. Yeah.
See, that's cool though. They came and bought it from like an exhibitor, a vendor.
Right. Oh, it's the PAX. It's the PAX merch specifically.
Yeah, it's the
got it.
Waiting in line at an event that you paid to get into to buy merch from the event that you won't see part of because you waited in line to buy the merch. I don't know. Circular. I'm done.
As he puts on his PAX hoodie.
Yeah. Hat on too as well.
Now, if we're talking PlayStation experience, I might have waited in one of those lines one time, but that's it's a different story.
I got you. Yeah.
Wasn't that
everyone's got their price. Mine, I'm going to echo Mark Ham here real quick. Howdy guys, can we give a sorted out for Bungie? Not only have they gone through this whole plagiarism thing, plus the emergency stream that they also did a complete mess. The audio design in it was terrible. It was just poorly put together, and it's just somewhat of an indication that them as a team are not doing so well, and they should really, 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 really delay Marathon for the foreseeable future if they want to go ahead and change it completely and not make an extraction shooter. That's what they should probably do, because anything the fans have suggested, like a proximity chat, they don't want to do. And just a big sorted out. Okay, so I saw this all going down when I was on vacation, and Bungie got caught plagiarizing someone's artwork. This is not the first time this studio has done this as well. They've gotten in hot water in the past about this. But they did do a stream, and I did not see the stream personally, but I did see some screenshots of it, and I did hear about some of it, and boy, did it sound like it did not go well. Like they did not have a clear vision with what they were doing. So Bungie is definitely going through it. In terms of proximity chat, in Marathon, I think they should do that. I don't know why they're so hesitant to, but for an extraction shooter, and Ben, you play Hunt, so you're used to this kind of stuff. And
yeah, I play a lot of
shooters
stuff with proximity chat. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's kind of crazy this game doesn't have it?
I haven't specifically played Marathon or even watched much of it. I think that any game is better with proximity chat. Like that's one of the only reasons I play Sea of Thieves anymore is like I just like the interactions, especially when I'm with my buddies and we're just goofing. I think they should have it. I think it would help the game be successful. But with that said, I'm also very much a person who's like, it's your game, do what you want to do. That may mean it doesn't sell as well. It may mean I don't like it as much. But like if they don't want proximity chat because of whatever reason, specifically I'm thinking because of the nightmare that moderation might end up being in that case, but that's just my guess. Then I'm like, okay, then they'll have proximity chat, but you may suffer for it or you may gain from it. That's capitalism, right?
Yeah.
So
I just think
I would want it, but I think if they don't want it, then whatever.
I think their competition is doing it and people like it and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So when they come over to it, from what I'm seeing, and like, what's that game? Arc Raiders, is that what it's called? Like, that's what everyone's talking about now.
Right.
That kind of game, and that has it. So, I mean, I'm personally excited for Marathon, and I hope it's really good. Yeah. I want to give it a shot big time, but it's like, you gotta, I don't know. In my opinion, they should delay it because from what we've heard about it and from what people played, like that we know, like Chris, who does like it, just says that there's just not enough there yet in the game. But we shall see.
I think it's tough, on the whole Marathon situation because like the game doesn't seem to be resonating with a large amount of people, but also like they've got a target on them already. Not only are they Bungie and Bungie's whole history, but they're a PlayStation-owned studio, so they're going to have that target on their back from Console Wars, and they're making a game that's not like some other games, and also in a genre that those genres some people just don't like in general. So like, I don't want to base until I get in and play for myself. I don't want to base it on that, but like it definitely seems like they don't have a lot going for them, and then. Man, you have to feel for the people at Bungie who did not know their artwork was like their whole style of their game was plagiarized. Like that's rough, but you have to make it right. Like you can't. That stain's never going to go away. Even when they do fix it, it won't go completely away. But so I don't know what the right answer is. I just know that they seem not to be going well. But I love extraction shooters. I love multiplayer, so I want to play it. But it just seems like it's not in a good spot.
Yeah. What do you think, Jason? Any thoughts on this?
Look at him over there grinning. I don't know what he's going to say, but I bet I'm going to hate it.
I don't play extraction shooters. I don't play multiplayer. So it's like I don't play either of these kind of games. I do love the way a Bungie game feels. Like I'm the kind of guy who jumped into Destiny and played through the campaign and then bounced. Like the kind of immersion events that would happen along the way. Like, oh shit, as I'm walking to my next story beat, all of a sudden, hey, this giant tank enemy thing just dropped in. Oh, now we're fighting it together. Cool. Been real. Peace. Now I move on. When Marathon was revealed, I mean, it was leaked to hell, right? So everybody kind of knew what it was. I think the biggest issue here is that, and what kind of made it worse is that even if people were giving the benefit of the doubt and be like, all right, well, it's Bungie, let's see what they do. The one thing that kept coming up that universally was praised was the art. And now you have this, which specifically takes down your biggest, benefit of the doubt source beyond, well, it's going to feel good, right? Like a Bungie game feels good. Nothing quite feels like a Bungie game, right? And it's unfortunate, it's selfishly, that it's in this wrapper. Like my fantasy is Bungie releases, and it's not going to be that, it wouldn't be profitable, and if it wouldn't be as profitable as, really hitting a live service game. That is the jackpot, but just like a jackpot that is gambling, right? Like it's a large risk to get that large reward, and whether it's going to pay out, I don't know. But my fantasy is basically make a Destiny 2 single player experience. Like, just give me all that content, like the story stuff. Everybody's typing up the story stuff, but half of it's vaulted, so I can't even get that full experience without watching it online. I don't want to do that, so I'll just never play it. Like, everybody talked about how great the final shape was, but I'm guessing that's only going to resonate. That's like watching Endgame without watching all the movies before that. So, I see Marathon, I'm like, wow, that does look really cool visually. But then you tell me even the trailer, like it sounded like they were integrating the narrative, and we're actually making it Marathon specific, so it doesn't feel so weird that it has the Marathon IP attached to it. But yeah, I just don't want to play those kind of games. It's just not of interest to me. I play mostly single player games, and the occasion I do play multiplayer, it's usually a co-op campaign like Space Marine 2 or Split Fiction. Like, that's the kind of stuff, or like Monster Hunter. Like, these are the kind of games that really pulled me in. Or ironically enough, the last game I really got into multiplayer was Halo Infinite, because it was that throwback, and it was simple. It wasn't complicated. We were playing team deathmatch. Like, that's what we're doing. So yeah, it sucks. I would imagine, all the articles today now coming out saying the team's in chaos, but it's just kind of, things just don't happen like this, and all the reporting and everything that's been leading up to this, unfortunately, it all tracks. The plagiarism thing, I don't think you can. I'll give that team the benefit of the doubt on that. I don't think you throw the whole team under the bus for that. I think somebody could come up with idea. The person who had at this point has like 1,000 followers, and that's now. So if it was a lesser known artist, and there was a guy at Bungie who was like, yeah, hey, look at this art style that I quote unquote came up with. How are you is your expectation to have an employee and be suspicious of every piece of art they contribute to the experience? Or if you see something cool and it looks original and it looks good, then you're like, oh, this is great. Let's run with this. Even if the source is nefarious, it should have been caught, I guess. I also don't know, how do you catch that? I had an experience once with the team, and it kind of spooked me, because I saw they were running a test on something, and there was a new asset that I never saw in the game before. And I just out of curiosity did a reverse image search of it. And I found it. It was like an album cover of something. And I was like, hey guys. And I immediately jumped on it. Right. And they said, yeah, it's temporary. It's temporary. I'm like, okay, cool. But then there was a part of me that was like running through and grabbing certain assets, like making sure, because I was like, it'll shake you. It will shake you. So this, if you want to talk about something that's like really throwing them into chaos, they're looking at everything they've ever done now.
Yeah.
And saying, oh shit. Because if this guy was someone who's been with the studio for a while, what else did they take? What else did they do? And they have to go through it. And it's not a small thing. The game has been in development for how long? How many years? How much content? It's not just like you work on one asset and it's over the course of weeks or months. It's like, no, multiple assets are being produced on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So you have probably thousands of things. And that's not even accounting for them potentially scrubbing Destiny and Destiny 2. You want a good use for AI? There you go. Check for plagiarism. Do the reverse engineer what AI is actively doing, and then say, hey, does anything in these, thousands of assets look like anything else that you're potentially in your database? Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it.
But then the problem is you're training the AI on that art, so that somebody else will then accidentally steal it in the future.
It's an endless cycle.
I used to be I still am, but I used to listen to a lot of Weird Al, and I remember back in the day before YouTube really blew up, he would like have things on his website and everything else that was like, how can I send you ideas for songs? And he was like, when people send me stuff, it gets incinerated. Like, we do not consume it at all, because of the just chance of an idea entering into our mind that could then become a song, whatever. We don't want to be ever accused of plagiarism. And like, however that worked, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. I assume he was telling the truth, but whatever. But like, not listening to something is way easier than not seeing something and accidentally stealing it, accidentally or on purpose, but especially accidentally. Like, you can be inspired by something and not even realize it. This obviously clearly seems like it was intentional.
Yeah. I'm not trying to undermine the severity of it, but the ripple and the issues are things that I could sympathize with.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. All right, this is from the Uncharted Wolf. Hey boys, sorted out to Microsoft and Bethesda. I have bought every Doom game physically, but to my dismay, Doom the Dark Ages barely has anything on the disc. This effectively makes the disc a plastic key. I don't understand why Microsoft does this even with their PS5 releases. I know us physical bros are on the way out, but the fact that the majority of PS5 games come fully on the disc makes the situation even more frustrating. Yeah, I don't know how much was on this disc, actually. I did hear about this.
I think it was like 80 meg or something. So unless I'm misremembering, it was very small.
Gotta see, dude. Gotta see.
It's like a game key. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's like the same thing, dude. Nintendo's very happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I can't find it right here.
It was
85
very
megabytes.
small.
85 megabits of data. Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder why. But I feel bad for the physical bros out there. Are you a physical guy, Jason?
Yeah, I buy physical when the option exists at all times. I mainly look at it from basically a resale perspective, because games are expensive, to the point that Ben was saying. So I like that as an option. I also like the idea of lending it to somebody, giving them a game to play, something like that. My buddy just got a PS5, so here, you want to play a bunch of my PS5 games I got? Go for it. I also like having the physical thing of sometimes I'll like Xenoblade actually is a good example. I bought it digitally just because of the way the timing worked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved it so much I bought it. So I have a sealed copy of it just because I want it, just for prosperity purposes. I think physical is great. It's definitely the most enduring version to have. But the reality is, so yes, I agree with all the use cases of why physical is important. Preservation, I mean, that's a big part of the company as well. But so many things now are reliant on the online component as well, even if it's not an online game, that it's like, okay, cool, there's nothing on the disc. I still need to install it. I still need to activate it online. I still need an account. I still need to do whatever these other things are. So it sucks to say that I'm pretty numb to it at this point, but definitely we always look for physical opportunities for our games, and I champion that because I love the idea of having physical media. I grew up in the 90s. That whole experience being God sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if I'm going to speak selfishly, I hate going into a GameStop and seeing it 80% toys. I don't like going, and I don't like looking at empty Best Buy shelves when I'm looking at the various consoles. Like, there's something fun about browsing it and picking something up and looking and going to a destination, and just generally like the idea of retail dying in and of itself, if you want to go beyond games, is just super depressing alone. So to lose this as well, like the idea of a Blockbuster and like renting games, that was awesome. And physical you need physical to do that kind of thing, So yeah, it's sad. It sucks. I love the idea of physical, how it exists. That's why I'm like, I understand from the preservation angle about the game key card thing. But I do like that there is a physical component of it because it opens up that physical retail channel. So I think I'm more upset about the demise of the physical retail channels themselves than anything else, because that has greater repercussions in the world than just, I can't have a disc.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Let's do the exact opposite, boys. Stuff we're pleased with. All right. Keep it up, Jason. What do you got?
Oh yeah, keep it up. Right. Okay. I thought you were just giving me encouragement. Okay.
Also,
I got two here. Again, this will be quick though. First, keep it up to VGC, Video Game Chronicles.
Oh.
This is easily, tell me if one's better, but I have not found a better way to consume video game news than Video Game Chronicles. It's perfect. It's headlines, blurb, and in chronological date order. That's all I want. Start my day, look at the news. There it is. Done.
Nice.
So keep that up.
I source them every now and then for punching up.
Yeah, they're awesome. I just like clean formatting. You're not overwhelming with guides or other nonsense. It's like, no, we're a news website. Here's the news reviews. And this is just give me date order. I was here yesterday, so I'm going to scroll down to where I was yesterday and then stop and then go, and I'll be back tomorrow. So keep it up.
Keep it up.
And then also shout out to Game Pass. Maybe a little hacky, but
it's always a good one.
I try to play 2 games at once. Typically, I'll play usually a game on my Switch and then a game at home, either on my PS5 and Series X. And I've only played 1 game on my PS5 this year because I've found so much stuff on Game Pass, and the delivery of games from Microsoft has just been killer. So just to rattle off the games I've completed: Sea of Stars since January, Sea of Stars, the Black Ops 6 campaign, Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sand, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and then of course I rolled into Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, so I have all the lore for Ninja Gaiden 4 when that comes out. Return to Grace, Avowed, Expedition 33, and we'll talk about it later, but Revenge of the Savage Planet, and I'm about to get into Doom. So
I haven't had a chance to play it yet either.
Yeah, and that's like the reason I played Revenge of the Savage Planet is because I finished something else before. I don't even remember what it was, but I basically had a day before Doom. I wanted to play something on Xbox, and I was like, oh right, this came out, let me play it. Oh hey, let's give that a shot. And then I got into it, so I kept going. I'll play Doom later. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, they've absolutely been killing it, and that's not even taking into account the latter half of last year with Indiana Jones, which I loved, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, keep this up, and you will earn that inevitable price increase.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Again,
yeah. All right, Ben, what about you?
Well, I know earlier you said we didn't want to inflate Jason too much.
Yeah.
But I got it.
Okay.
A bit of a personal one for me, but which is not an area I venture into very often. But Jason, I knew of Jason just from being on a few shows. I think he was on with Colin and everything. I think we followed each other on Twitter, but I hadn't interacted with him other than like editing his voice here and there. And when I got laid off, Jason reached out to me. And like there are tons of other people in the industry who follow me on social media, even liked my tweets about getting laid off, who I've interacted with in the past, who I've had professional relationships with, personal relationships with. Jason is the only like industry person who reached out to me, at least like early on, within the first month, I'd say. And just like, I don't know, I'm just some dude. He's just some dude, and just offering to take time out of his day, out of his like, you have 24 hours in a day, and he took more than one of them multiple times to just sit down with me and talk to me. I just think that's a awesome move. I just wanted to thank Jason for that. Ever since then, we've become buddies, and he's introduced me to some people. I've tried to reciprocate, and not always like, hey, this is a good opportunity for a job, or this is a business deal. It's just like, I want good people to know each other, because I think that eventually may result in something, but in the immediate, I just think good people should know each other. So without, inflating his head too much, I just want to thank Jason and give him his keep it up for being a good dude. You've been a good friend to me, and you did what a lot of other people didn't do. And that says a lot about you to me. So appreciate it, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Oh, that was cute, Ben.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
Maybe the first time I've ever done that in my entire life, even.
Wow. What an honor. What an honor.
Yeah. Ben, I just got to say, the first time you made an impression of me was when I was walking through the Istanbul airport, and I was listening to an episode of, you might have been on Duke, or it was, I don't know if this was actually going yet, but you were talking about Power Washing Simulator.
Oh, nice.
And it was just the way you said, and this made me burst out laughing while walking through the Istanbul airport. Beautiful airport, by the way. Completely irrelevant to the story. But you basically said, someone's like, so what was it about the game that you liked? And you said, well, it was when I turned on the water and started power washing. But it was the delivery of it. I was like, oh my God, I just burst out laughing. It was great. Yeah.
That is good.
But yeah, it was my pleasure.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
For me,
you suck, Jason. Just to bring it down a level.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, keep it coming.
Yeah. For me,
and you got weak legs.
Quite out yet, but it comes out next week. Is Onimusha 2: Samurai's Destiny? The remaster of Onimusha 2 is coming out the 22nd, days from now. I'm very excited for this. I'm a big Onimusha fan. What's the new one called? Way of the Sword, I think. Looks awesome. I'll be there day one So I'm very happy to return Onimusha 2. 2 was my favorite out of the originals. So I'm looking forward to going back. Thank you, Capcom. Those gifts.
Yeah, needs more Jean Reno.
Okay, let's find something from the audience. You know, hold on. I'm going to switch my headphones. I wonder if I can, because these headphones are like fucked up. I wonder if they got fucked up on my travels. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Hopefully my computer doesn't blow up. Hey, listeners, stand by for 2 seconds. Listen to Ben kind of ramble about something. Ben, go.
I'll go ahead and start talking about one of the write-ins here. This is from Player X. It kind of goes along with what Jason was saying. It says, hey, Summoners, I want to issue a Keep It Up to a parody. Parody D's nuts. Ha! And that was there. But seriously, keep it up, Game Pass and PS Plus. As a family man with 3 women in the house and a small zoo of pets, we don't have a lot of cash to be throwing at $60 or $70 games that may or may not be good. Both of these services, combined with the awesome sales that come along with them, give me a constant flow of games to enjoy. I've been in every generation since the NES, and I've never had it so good. So another keep it up to subscription services. Jason, we're both on the publishing side now, and obviously we can't talk about like specific dealings with that stuff, but like we're both in publishing and we like subscription services. So take that for what you will, audience.
Yeah.
Is that a direct shot at Colin?
Everything I say is a direct shot at Colin.
Okay.
Just for the record. No, it's not. It's a direct shot at just the internet, I guess.
All right.
You should read this one though. This probably would have been a more suitable at the intro, but James Solar has his stat right in here.
Oh yes, James. The last couple of weeks he's been doing it. Go ahead and read it, Jason.
All right, sure. James Solar says, hey boys, I'm back with stats for Jason and Ben. This will be Jason's 4th time on Summon Sign. His first time was episode 23, and his most recent time was episode 50. Jason is a rare guest for the show, but he still comes in the top half of guests when ranked by appearances, 11 of 25. This will be Ben's 11th time on Summon Sign. His first appearance was episode 3, and his most recent appearance was episode 53. This will be the first time that Jason and Ben are on Summon Sign together, and I think it will be their first time on any LSM show together. Keep it up, boys. You'll probably hear from me again next week. I just want to say, keep it up, James Solar. I love these
Yes,
stats.
James has got the stats all the time. He's our stat man. Good shit.
We literally have I say we. I'm not part of you anymore. You literally have a spreadsheet that James developed for Constellation that talks about who's been on which shows together, what the topics have been. I know I used that whenever I was looking through.
Yes, I do use that as well.
Yeah.
Make sure that thing's updated. Keep that updated every single time.
Keep it updated, James Solar.
All right.
See what you did there.
Okay. We got Dagan Moriarty here. Obviously, the real Dagan writing in. Keep it up, Cozy Games. In the last week and a half, I fell back into Disney Dreamlight Valley and finished the story. Yes, it has a story. I also spent the early months of the year playing Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, while others were searching for wilds for monsters. Outside of Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, these games don't get a lot of shine, but they deserve praise for being there when you don't want to have to perfect your parry or prepare to die. Okay, we've had like a lot of parodies writing in. So I don't know if your name's actually Dagan Moriarty, because there's been Colin Moriarty's writing in and stuff like that. And I don't know if our Dagan has like a thing against games like this or not. I don't know what's going on. There's too much fucking lore at this company. I can't keep up with it, man.
I don't know this one. I knew the obese one. I got nothing on the other one.
Yeah, I mean, I work here and I don't know this stuff. It's like crazy. There's just too much shit, man. The obese one is funny though. Once you explained it to me, I was like, "Oh, that's clever."
It was hilarious. I was dying. That was a great write-in.
Yes, that's good. Okay, Jason, I'm excited to hear you talk about this one. Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. This is the sequel to Ender Lilies, right?
Yeah, so this is the sequel to Ender Lilies, and in that game you play as a girl named Lily. So in Ender Magnolia, which is the sequel, you would naturally play as a character named Lilac. That's right. That's exactly what her character name is.
Nice.
Lilac. Yeah. So Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. Do you have games in your backlog that will just sit there forever? You're like, I promise I will play this game.
Yeah, that's
I promise I'll play this game.
It's Lost Odyssey. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Now what if a Lost Odyssey 2 came out? Would that motivate you to play Lost Odyssey? Right. So that's basically what happened here. Is that Ender Lilies was in my backlog since it came out, right? And I thought, all right, this game looks beautiful. It seems up my alley. I'll check it out. And I just never got around to it. So it's just sat in my backlog. And then Magnolia was coming. I think I just saw a trailer also in a Switch Direct. And I said, oh man, it's time. I got to do it. I played so many Metroidvanias this year. And because it was this and like Blade Chimera was like in this mix as well. I think I played that right before. That game kicks ass too, by the way. But this one, it takes place in the same world as Ender Lilies, but it's in the future. So Ender Lilies was more around like spiritual concepts and that kind of stuff. This is more about robots, or as they call them, homunculi. This game is like the perfect sequel. And up until I played Expedition 33, I was like, this is going to be my game of the year. Like it is. This game is kind of perfect in everything it does. I was never frustrated. The challenge always felt right. But basically, a lot of the issues that I had with the original. So, for example, the map was a big problem in the original. You know, I know Micah talks about the spaghetti map of a Metroidvania. I think they tried to simplify it in the original, in that each room was a box that was the exact same size, and then it had like a bunch of lines connecting it. So it looked more like what is it, like one of those crime boards where
it looked messy when you spaced it out.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part for that was you'd go into a room and it would be enormous. So you're like, okay, they had this thing where it would change color depending on if you found everything in it, but you didn't actually know where in the room it would be. So you're just running around these huge rooms sometimes, being like, well, where's the thing I need to go? So it was easy to get lost in the original. And so this one, they fixed that. And it has like one of the best map systems I've ever seen, in that it kind of takes what you would normally find in Metroidvania, but instead of block by block, it's actually, painting various areas. And then once you find everything in a room, it makes it blue. And then but you can also see distinct areas without having to do much heavy lifting to identify places you have not explored. The themes, I think one of the things about the original game is that it was super oppressive. It is dark and depressing. The girl who you play as, Lily, is just like always falling over and just like crying and upset and sad. And she's like really helpless. So in that game, you have these abilities and spirits you capture. And it's similar in this, where you equip various enemies that you defeat. They basically become your allies and you could use them as weapons. And you have a certain amount you equip at once. So that carries over here as well. But even though the themes are very similar and the game is just as dire in what it's telling you, it doesn't feel nearly as oppressive. And I think part of that is because there are actually like NPCs in the world. Like you'll encounter these areas where there's like people that you can talk to and shops, and they'll give you side quests. The aesthetic is more vibrant. It's like you go to places that are actually brightly lit. It's a little bit more explicitly anime coded than Lily's was, because you look at that game, it doesn't look like anime. I think it kind of does its own unique thing, and it's very painterly in that sense. This one, it was kind of jarring when I started up. It's like, oh, anime eyes. Okay. Didn't expect that. But it's just as beautiful. It's just as beautiful, just a little bit different. And also, when I talk about visuals, best puddles in gaming are these games.
Wow.
Yeah. Best puddles.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it cheating? Maybe, because you'll be at these save systems and you're in this area where you're like sitting on a bench and then there's a puddle in the foreground. Plays a lot with depth, even though it's a 2D game. And it's just gorgeous. And all the time, by the way. The game's gorgeous all the time. I played this on Switch. Flawless. Absolutely flawless performance. So play it there risk-free. Gameplay, perfectly balanced. The original had some really difficult boss fights in it. This one also has challenge, but never like bash your head against a wall frustrating. There were some moments in the original where I was just like, am I even supposed to be here at this point? And I just was getting my ass kicked. The characters, also the interaction, I think it also goes to the vibe and the tone. is a lot more interesting because there's a lot more interaction between all these homunculi that you collect. So, and this character Nola that you have is awesome. That's the first one you get. And she's like paramount to the story and actually interacts with people. Whereas the original, there's just nobody. Like, it is so depressing. You're just like this little girl running around and it's surrounded by monsters in a world that's just been completely destroyed. Like, all right, come on. Can I get like something? I mean, yeah, that's a pretty puddle, but can I see the sun at some point? You get the double jump right away. Always appreciate a game that gives you the double jump right away, which is something that took forever to get in the original. And if you want to know how the game plays, it's a Metroidvania, so pretty straightforward how that works. But you also have a lot of build crafting options in this game. So I mentioned the abilities. They're gained from beating bosses and mini bosses. You have 4 of these equipped at once. They're each mapped to different buttons, so you could use them at any point. You don't have to contort your hand like in Metroid. It'd be like, okay, if I hold this button and then this thing and then do a backflip, then I can fire a missile. You don't do that. You have equipment, which modifies your stats. So you have 4 of those slots. You have 1 carapace, I don't know how to say that word, 2 bracelets and 1 totem, and they all modify your stats a bit. They can make you move faster, recharge health, and increase healing usage. And then you have relics, which are buffs. You have 10 slots, but one of the currencies that you get increases the amount of capacity you have. So you can have 10 of these, but they each have different values to take them out. The game there's just so many different ways you could play it to your different play styles as you're getting these things. Exploration is so rewarding. I 100%ed the entire map. Actually, I booted it up because I actually finished the game a couple months ago, but it just stuck with me. And then when I was coming on, I knew I absolutely wanted to talk about the Promise Macot Agency, but I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about this game because it's so good, so special, and I don't want it to get buried. And it's definitely worth going back to. But I turned it back on and realized, oh, there's 2 places I didn't explore. So I just knocked those out. And now the entire map is fully cleared. There's a new game plus. I was like, ooh, maybe. But I got 100 line right there. And that's going to be the
right, sure, yeah.
That's going to be my life moving forward. So yeah, but that's a bit about Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. It's an impossible title to remember, but it is absolutely incredible. I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you like Metroidvanias, if you just like, even if you just like a 2D action RPG with a bit of challenge, it's just so good. And somebody did ask about this. I don't know if you have the question already.
Yeah, this is from Argus
cool.
Forever.
Yeah,
Jason. Coincidentally, I just done 100%ing both Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolia and getting their platinums. Both, in my opinion, were fantastic Metroidvanias that pulled me in and held me tight from beginning to end. I'm really excited to see what this developer comes up with next. What was your go-to ability set? Mine was Nola's Axe, number 7 Samurai Slash move, and holding down together Yolvin's and Lily's Siege projectile for maximum pressure. Lastly, for the whole group, what is it about Metroidvanias that make the great ones so great? I'd have to put this game in my top 3 favorite gaming genres. Cheers and keep up the great work, Brad. Summon Sign has become my favorite LSM show. Thanks, Argus. All right, let's talk about your build first, Jason. What did you rock?
Yeah, so I saw this before, so I had to look it up and see what I had going. This is the other thing I forgot to mention. You have, for all of these abilities you get, you could then get upgrades to them to have alternate versions of them. So he mentions Nola and the axe. That's like her heavy ability, but she starts off with more of like a rapier, like just like a sword thing. I actually and Nola is like your primary ability. So her upgrade path is different than others, different currencies and things. There's so many currencies in this, but whatever. It forces you to be more diverse with your loadout. So I had Nola Soul Harvester, which is her scythe attack, which has more of like an AoE effect and spinning around. It looks awesome. It was fun to use. So I love that. It was kind of a balance between the heavy attack and the one with more range and more agility. I had this guy Lido, which Blazing Fist, which is like a ranged punch attack. And then I used unnamed, which, because this guy just doesn't have a name. They straight up say it. Like he's just this experimented monster on. And it's called the Benumbed Howl. Basically, it's an ability that is only used on parry. and then it triggers this big AoE blast.
Ooh.
So that was fun. And you don't even need it. So if you're like, I don't want to deal with parrying, cool, you don't have to. But that was super useful, especially when dealing with mobs. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it was very helpful at times. And then there's an owl that you can get. And I always ever since I think the first instance of this where I realized how much I love these abilities was Ratchet and Clank back in the day. And every Ratchet and Clank has an auto fire gun where you just drop it and it just starts shooting automatically. So you can get an owl, and he's got a seeker ability, and he just automatically fires. So you trigger that, and it'll just start firing.
See, like a Mr. Zircon kind of thing?
Exactly. Yeah. Just like Mr. Zircon, but it's an owl.
Cool.
So that was my build.
That's sick.
Yeah. This game's badass. I love it. And as I talk about it, I'm like, man, I kind of want to play this again.
What do you, I guess, for Metroidvanias, what makes the good ones stand out to you?
It's really about how they deliver those upgrades and new options to traverse the map, right? Because that's what it is, right? It's all the progression and balancing, and games themselves keeping your interest and knowing when to give you that new thing and not get bored, to give you that new toy to play with, and then making the rewards enticing enough to explore those nooks and crannies that you found before. So without that, you're just like, whatever, I don't want to explore. Like, what was it? I played through Zao last year.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought it was great. The story was amazing. The performance was incredible. I loved the world. I loved the style. The combat was interesting, kind of playing with like that dual color system. Like, what was that crazy, that Ubisoft published game? Was it Outland? I think that's what it was. Like
that sounds right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I like it. But it's funny that was actually a Metroidvania game, because at no point I felt that I had to go back to find anything. It was more like, you go to this area, cool, you can find everything, then you go back. Then you go to this area, cool, then you find it, and then you go back, then you go to this area. And it was paced well as like a linear platforming game in it that happened to be in an open world, versus a Metroidvania, which is like constantly making you zigzag back and forth to then stumble upon these things and incentivize you to go out of your way to get more upgrades that that you may have missed. So I think this game just does it perfectly. Like, it's always giving you new toys to play with, and you always have things to upgrade. So you always want to upgrade your loadout if you want to get into the build crafting, and then you're going to find a new thing where it's like, oh, cool, now I have this thing that's going to give me extra damage, and now I've struggled to swim in this environment, but there's a power up I can get. So, oh my God, I just found this thing that lets me swim faster. So now I'm going to jump over back here and do that thing that I couldn't do before. It's just like,
that's all good stuff.
It checks all those boxes. And I think that's what makes a good Metroidvania. It's just something that kind of, it's just endless carrots.
Yeah.
And the carrots are everywhere.
Endless carrots is a great way to describe it. It's like certain Metroidvanias do certain things about them, I should say, I like over others. Like, I think of Guacamelee. I really like the platforming in it. I think they do such a great job with the platforming in those games. But it's like, when I think Symphony of the Night, it's kind of like the whole package of like the music, the art, the movement, of course, all that kind of stuff, and the pace which you get powers. Do you like the Blasphemous games, Jason?
I only played a little bit of the first one as 2 was coming out, and I was just not in a mindset, or I wasn't into it. I feel like I just need to. This is one of those like swallow my pride and just jump into 2.
It's really good.
I hear 2 is amazing.
Yeah, they're really good. I love them both. But yeah, I was just curious.
I own it. I think I bought it. I just didn't play it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Any thoughts from you, Ben, on Metroidvanias?
Yeah, I mean, in addition to what Jason said, I don't know if this is just because I've played so many or what, but like, the thing about Metroidvanias for me is I struggle to think of a Metroidvania I've ever played that didn't have an amazing soundtrack. I'm sure there are some, don't get me wrong, and there are certainly games that aren't Metroidvanias that have amazing soundtracks, but like, there's so many good soundtracks. Like, now I'm struggling to think of one, of course. The SteamWorld games both have good soundtracks, or the
SteamWorld Dig
games.
Oh yeah, SteamWorld Digs are sick.
Yeah, they kick ass. That's great.
Dead Cells, Messenger, the Ori games, Hollow Knight, 9 Years of Shadows, which full disclosure, my company published, but I played it long before I even ever thought about working there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's not unique to that style of game. It's just that when I think about Metroidvanias, they all have great audio, great sound. So maybe it's because of the style of game that they put a focus on that. You know what? Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I played probably over half of it. It was pretty good, but that's one I can say, like, I don't remember it having a particularly great soundtrack. I like the game, but it didn't stand out to me. So there we go. I just broke the rule.
2024 game of the year for me.
Yeah.
Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. Loved it. Love that game.
I got I don't remember where it was, but I definitely got to a point where I was like, I can't. I'm bad. I'm old and bad at video games now. Like, it was like 20 hours in. I did really well until I got to a point where I was just like, nope, hit a wall. Can't do it. Maybe someday.
I believe in you.
I believe in you too. Man, Metroidvanias are so good.
I think it's because I was playing it on Switch, and I just don't play my Switch that often outside of first party. And I don't know, like the some of the stuff in the game was like my giant fingers just couldn't mash the bumpers down. There's so many abilities and everything in that game. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
Just I hit a wall and there was something else I wanted to play and I didn't persevere.
Yeah, there is a bit of that contorting finger thing that might be part of a Metroidvania, but
yeah. And if you're not in the mood for it, it's tough to get through. You got to be in the zone.
I know when I start to get impatient, even if it's something that needs to have some timing to it, I'm done playing for a while.
Sure. All right. Jason, you once again, Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Okay, speaking of Metroidvanias, because that's kind of what this is. I'll probably keep this one a bit quick, but the original Revenge of actually, I'll start like this because I was talking about Game Pass, right? This, and I don't mean this as a bad thing. If I did, I wouldn't have finished this game. It took me a little over 10 hours to complete. Okay. This is a perfect Game Pass game.
Okay. Yeah. A great rental from like back in the day.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Doom is coming out. You just played Expedition 33. Now you want to jump around in some goofy ass platforming thing as a game that, you know, it gives it a chance. It gives it a chance. If I don't know if I would have paid $60 for this, even though it's worth it. I mean, the game's great, but I wouldn't have jumped in if I had that barrier, at least not now. But the fact that it was right there, yeah, I jumped in and I finished it. I put off Doom the Dark Ages for a week so I could play Revenge of the Savage Planet, and I enjoyed my time. So this is a sequel to Journey to the Savage Planet, which I played during lockdown and remember really liking it. And I don't remember much else about that game, but I remember it was fun.
Same here. Just funny thing. I played this at Judges Week. We were talking about this a little earlier, and I don't really remember much about that game either, except kind of low grav jumping around on a planet, I guess.
Yeah.
So I also played that game and I forgot about it until Jason said he was going to talk about Revenge of the Savage Planet. And then I looked it up and I was like, this is a different developer.
It's the same developer.
They just changed their name.
Yeah, there's a whole thing. I read the background. I was going to put it in here, but then I didn't.
Anyway, apparently it was a very forgettable game because...
Well, the game was good. That's the thing.
It.
It's just, it's like, it was super bright. It was funny. It was first person. It kind of scratched that Metroid Prime itch. You know what I mean? Like that first person platforming focus. And it was great. Now this one is third person. That was the biggest thing that shocked me when I started this game. And I said, this is interesting. Also, I thought it was a survival game. And I thought, they made this a survival game. Thankfully, it's not. It's not my jam, the survival game. No disrespect to survival games. Just not really what I wanted. I was kind of expecting that exploration thing. Fortunately, it's not a survival game at all. Like I said, it took me about 10 hours. 10 hours and 19 minutes was the final count that I had when I beat the final boss. That was not 100%, but it's a lot of the world cleared. So there's there's actually 4 planets. There's 5 planets actually, but 4 primary ones. The 5th one's just the last boss fight. And each one was at least 90% complete when I finished this. So probably could get all those to 100 with another maybe 2 or 3 hours tops. But basically you land on an alien planet, seemingly to rebuild the human race on this planet in a town called New Florida, which gave me a good laugh. New Florida spelled N-U-F-L-O-R-I-D-A, which is great because it was right on the heels of New LA in Xenoblade Chronicles X. that is the city in that game. Anyway, you're part of the premise is story-wise, it's super loose. I honestly didn't pay that much attention to it, but basically you're part of the Alta Company, which is like this big conglomerate that's building up this colony. But you're the only person there. I guess all these ships came down. Have you guys seen Don't Look Up?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're familiar with the ending of that movie, like the very end, at the post-credit sequence, it kind of reminds me of like, what if a game started where at that scene?
Okay.
That's kind of reminded me of, but you're the only guy. And you're basically trying to build up this thing. So you're on this alien planet. There's a lot of discovery, and it goes heavy on the humor, like real heavy. And unlike Promise Macot Agency, where I was on board and laughing with everything they were telling me, this one I was like, let me turn that down just a little bit. It's fine, but it's a lot and it's constant. It's not corny. You know what it is? It's like it's that Tim and Eric vibe.
Okay.
And that was when I was done with Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Like, bring me on board for like the Aqua Teen days. You know, this was more these crazy over the top live action thing. The last time I remember this kind of humor hitting for me, and I love throwing obscure games out there because someone inevitably in the comments like, oh my God, he said such and such. I forgot what the last one I said. But Amped 3, which was a launch Xbox 360 game. Did you ever play this?
No.
Okay, this game is so crazy and over the top, and every chapter of the game had these unique cutscenes that were so wild and crazy. There was a whole ad for Cinco de Mayo, which was anyway, that's what it sounds like. Point is, it's kind of like that. If you played it, I guess not many people did, but think of that and just constantly in your face all the time. They got fake advertisements. They got live action cutscenes where these guys are talking in goofy voices. They're constantly talking to you while you're exploring, but let's get to the game. The draw of the game, and this is what kept me going, is the exploration. Mentioned the planets. It's Metroidvania progression, so you're constantly finding things that you can't progress through. So you're always getting new abilities, and that's the draw. It's like I mentioned Metroid Prime before. A big part of this game is scanning everything, all the fauna, all the plants, every chunk, You enter a facility. It's like, okay, you could stay on the screen. You could add that to your database. So there's just something addictive to that, going into a place, going to scan mode, hoping something's orange, and then you could scan it, and then cool, I added that to my list. And then that will unlock upgrades. And then in addition to capturing enemies, so you can like lasso enemies. Some of them you have to stun. And then if you stun them, you can capture them, and then they get added to the pen at your base. And then and then you can research them, which will unlock more abilities in the game that will make you do better. Like unlock new abilities and whatnot. And sometimes that's tied to the main path where, hey, you need this ability. I don't even remember what it was. Like, let's say, oh, you need a hook shot, right? And the only way you can unlock a hook shot is if you kidnap this. It's a kidnap, but if you capture this, yeah, let's say kidnap, whatever. You're going to kidnap this animal, and then you research it, and it's like, cool. Now here are the tools to create the hook shot, and then you build it. You got a hook shot. But there's a lot of secrets to find, and all of these levels look great. Like, this game looks amazing. Like, it's got a very unique style, and it stands out. It's very similar to Journey to the Savage Planet. And it's just very bright and vibrant and appealing. And you just want to be there. Sometimes you don't need this dark and oppressive vibe. And this game will deliver it if you want more of that joyous exploration experience. So the highlight for me was like a lot of the navigation and moving around felt great. Exploring felt great. And at one point you could unlock an upgrade to the grappling hook where you could just grapple in midair, similar to a pre-Spider-Man 2 web slinging system, which I love. It's great. I kind of broke the game at one point because you're supposed to unlock this ability to break amber with bombs, and that's supposed to unlock new hookshot points. But because I had this ability, I was able to just go up past that point. And then they said, hey, you should get that ability to blow up these bombs. I'm like, all right, fine. I backed up. I didn't try to break the game any further. I'm like, I'll do what you want. Revenge of the Savage Planet. So I did. The biggest issue I had with the game is the combat. It's fine. There's a very limited amount of enemies. A bit much. There's a bit. Just trying to read my notes here. They repeat a bunch, and fighting them can sometimes be a bit more annoying than anything else.
Yeah.
It's not like the controls are bad. It's just a bit too repetitive and not that interesting. That said, the boss fights were awesome. So there's like occasional boss fights, and they make you do some interesting things. They I mentioned Ratchet and Clank before, like they gave me Ratchet and Clank vibes and make a good use of all the abilities you've unlocked to that point. So they keep you on your toes, and I was always entertained there. And the combat's pretty easy. So even though it wasn't that interesting, it was never too much of a hindrance. And then the last thing I'll bring about this was part of the humor that I liked. In the original game, you chose your profile picture, and if you chose the dog, your character, it was implied that your character was a dog, and it would make barking noises.
That's cool.
And you can do that here as well. So if you choose, as you're going through it, the first time you start, you choose your profile picture, choose the dog, and then you just bark the whole time. It's really funny. So that's a funny humor that I like. Some of it hit, but man, when they were just bombarding you with all these zany live actions, I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
Just shut up and let me walk around. And
is it like the sadistic but incredibly dark humor robot voice the whole time? Is that where the humor comes from?
No, because you actually see these people.
Oh, okay. I think in the first one, it was mostly from the robot.
Right. Yeah. This one, you have a base and there's a big screen, and they'll actually force you to watch a video before you go on the next mission sometimes. And they're short, so it's not like, oh, this is unbearable. It's like at most they're 2 minutes or so. And it's usually like a guy in a chair with a guy in a room, and he's yelling at you and talking at you. And it's kind of like the Tim and Eric version of the Control cutscenes with what was it, Dr. Darling, that guy. So imagine that, but if Tim and Eric produced it, that's really the best way I could use to explain it. Also, I'll say that the first mob enemy you encounter are like these cute they're like giant raccoon heads is the best way to explain it. And they have these big eyes, and they're adorable. And you have to kill one eventually, or at least you might, because when I killed it the first time, I was horrified because this thing just explodes into green goo, and its eyeballs are just rolling around as well. It was brutal. It was so brutal. And there are little variants of these things all over, and I felt so bad. I tried not to kill them whenever I could, but definitely had to kidnap a few for science.
Absolutely.
So it's not bad. Great Game Pass game if you want something to, break up the pace of some of these AAA games that are sucking up all the conversation, and you want to just have something a little different, joyous.
Just a brisk little game. Yeah.
Yeah, a jaunt.
A jaunt.
As it may be.
That's right. Okay. We're going to talk about Expedition 33. We talked about this a little bit. Where are you guys in the game, I guess? So they're not done with the game, chat. I am also not done with the game.
I'm done.
You're done. Okay, you're done. Me and Ben are not done, but there's a possibility there could be some spoilers where Ben's at in the game. So if you're very nervous about it, there's possibility. I'm just warning you. I don't know if there will be, but it's possible. So just keep that in mind.
I'm pretty sensitive to spoilers, so I'll try my best not to say anything but
yeah, and I'll be vague with anything.
So yeah.
I don't even know where to begin with this because I think you guys have talked about the game a little bit. Also, Brad, you just called the podcast audience chat, and that really made me giggle.
That is funny. Streamer brain.
The man's tired. He just flew in from Nashville.
So there's so much to talk about with this game, but I know you've already talked about it a little bit. It's been out for a while. I probably would have been done with it if I hadn't been away for a week at PAX. But all that to say, for those who do wonder where I'm at the end of, or what I believe is the end of Act 2.
Okay.
So well into the game at this point. From the first time I saw this game revealed, I knew that I wanted to play it. I do like turn-based games already, so that was already like an instant sell for me. That doesn't mean I like all turn-based games, because there's definitely a lot that I'm not a fan of, but it wasn't a turn-off for me like it was for a lot of people initially. What I'll say for those who know, the second trailer they came out with, I never saw it, because I have this thing where if I see a game that I want to play, I just go blackout and just play the game. And I'm really glad I didn't, because there's some like really big moments in this game that are heavily spoiled by trailers. If you haven't watched them, don't. That are really moving, and some of them are really not only moving but impressive from a world building point of view, and from a I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but a big thing in a place, set pieces, set piece moments, and everything like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this game that I fortunately did not have spoiled for me ahead of time, which was a lot of fun just to be able to go into games like that. And this is one of those games where I feel like there are a lot of games you can go into blind, and it's like it doesn't really make that much of a difference because you kind of know what the game is. This is one of those games where I was just like, I know there is a game, and it's by a French studio, and it looks cool, and there's some turn-based stuff in it. But I think this is one of those special games where like there's so much that's there that if you don't have it spoiled by trailers, it makes it all the better. So with that said, the first thing that really you notice is the amazing soundtrack. Right off the rip, they're just throwing balls to the wall with phenomenal music, phenomenal score, great voice acting too, but I'm not even getting to that yet. The soundtrack from the get-go is amazing. And then where I'm at now, 20 plus hours into the game, it just gets better. So like if you enjoy it at the beginning, it just continues to get better. And I don't think that slows down at any point. So I just got to give this game its flowers on the soundtrack, because it's just really, really good. And I am someone who's like, okay, if there's a game that you can play and you don't really need to experience a lot of story stuff, then sure, go ahead and turn on a podcast to grind, whatever. But if there's no story stuff, definitely check it out. This is not one of those games. I'm like that with like grindy games. I'm somewhere in between the never and the always. This is definitely towards the never side of that. You need to experience it, one, for the story, but two, for the amazing soundtrack and the phenomenal mixing that they've done. Enough about the soundtrack, on to the actual combat. I really enjoy the way that this game enables you to collect party members and to assign them different things that can then feed into other party members' abilities. For instance, I suppose the very lightest of gameplay spoilers, some characters can set enemies on fire, and other enemies can do more damage to enemies that are, other party members can do more damage to enemies that are already on fire. So like it allows you to build out your character's abilities in such a way that they play off of each other well. And as long as you can progress through and not get your character wiped out in one hit by the boss or the enemy that you're facing, you can capitalize on all those different abilities as long as you've taken the time to build them out. I really like that like really getting down into the weeds, the nitty gritty of being able to enable your characters to play off of each other. Mm-hmm. And it's so hard to talk about this game without spoiling who or what is doing what at any given point. So I'm just trying to be really vague. Hopefully that's not hurting the discussion.
No, I think okay. We've talked about like way more.
Okay, cool.
We've gone far beyond that kind of
all
stuff.
Right. The themes in this game, again, without getting into spoilers, are pretty cool. There's a lot of themes of love, and there's themes of loss, and there's themes of navigating difficult relationships, and there's themes of the finality of life, and there's themes of hope. And like there's so many themes here to pick apart that it's kind of like a feast. None of them are really happy themes though. So like just be prepared for that like all of it is going to make you consider your mortality.
Yeah, it's a sad game.
Yeah, it's a sad game. So I'm enjoying the story very much. Again, very spoiler heavy, so I can't really get into that. But all in all, like I can riff off of anything you guys have to say about the game, of course, but I don't have a lot to really get deep into just because of the nature of the game and how special not knowing anything about it ahead of time was for me. But I am enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying the gameplay style or the gameplay systems. I'm getting a little. Normally, I'm like, okay, let me just beat this guy with a hammer until he dies. Even in turn-based games, I'm like, what's the strongest attack I can do? And I do it. In this game, I'm definitely getting more into the actual strategy of things and measuring out my AP and which pictos I'm using and making sure that they can combo with other players. And that's probably added, I don't know, 5 hours to my playtime just because I'm taking a lot of time in between fights to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys have to say about it, if anything. But I am playing it. I am enjoying it, and I'll probably be done by end of the week if nothing happens.
Yeah. I guess, Jason, anything you want to say about it?
This game kicks ass. Like, this game rocks. Like, this is like, there's man. Yeah, I guess. Like I said,
when we were in Boston, one time Jason was like, "Are you done with Expedition 33?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Screw you, man! I want to talk about it with somebody."
Yeah, it's true. I do, because like nobody I know has finished this game, and it's crazy because not a lot of my friends play games the way I do. I don't think many people play games the way I do. I play too many of them too fast, and this game is really special. I think. I was actually talking about it with a buddy of mine yesterday, and I was like, this game is kind of, everybody's talking about the side, and Gene kind of ruined this for me. Like, anytime somebody says, I can't think about anybody saying, I can't stop thinking about Gene when somebody says, "Oh my God, could you believe it was only 30 people?" Like, when he went on that rant, I was dying, and I'm like, damn it, it's true. It's like that. Oh man. It's like that moment. I mean, man, who was it? It was, who's that former governor of, and I'm gonna get political. I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna say, it was like, there was a Rubio moment where he got called out for saying something about Obama. He's like, jam it down your throat. And then he's like, and he says, "See, that's all you got. That's your line." It was Chris Christie. Chris Christie called him out. And then he's like, "Well, no, it's like something. And then he's just jamming it down your throat. He's like, "You see, he said the same thing. He said the thing again." So it was just funny. It kind of reminds me of that, where I'm like, damn it, they're saying the thing again every single time. Every time. Thanks, Gene, for that. So that's stuck in my head forever. But this game is, the more that comes out about the development about it, they found the guy on Reddit, they found the guy on SoundCloud, they're going to talk about it like that. That's wildly impressive. That's not how games should be made. And this game is a miracle for how good it is. And I'm so happy that it exists. I love this game. Everything about it was fantastic. The pacing was so good. Like, it's like, is it perfect? I don't know. It might. The one issue I might have found is that sometimes the lip syncing is off. Otherwise, I'm like, this game is kind of perfect. I know everybody's talking about the mini map issue. I think somebody wrote about that. Didn't bother me that much. At first, I was like, weird, there's no mini map. I got lost. Okay, I'm never far away enough from anything for it to truly bother me. Also, I'm also that kind of guy that gets obsessed over mini maps. So I'm like, maybe this isn't a bad idea. I could take in the world as opposed to just looking and making sure I scoured every corner and trace the edges. I can do that anyway. This game's just awesome. And how it can appeal to so many different people at once. People are saying this is the best JRPG. Is it? I guess maybe you're probably playing it more like an action game then, if you're not into JRPGs, because of the awesome parrying system and dodging system. Like, it gives you those abilities while pairing it with what makes a good JRPG game. And if you're not into that kind of system, cool. Well, then you could dodge and you could play off weaknesses and you could build craft and you would do all these other things. It serves so many genres at one time while delivering an incredible story that sticks to landing, is incredibly thought-provoking, and while super dire, it also has some of the funniest moments in a game that I could remember of recent memory. I mean, outside of Promise Macot Agency, of course, but like, the characters are so well written, and that's often when you could deliver the best laughs. Like, some of these guys, the gestrels.
Mm-hmm.
are hilarious. Every single one of them is hilarious. They're so good. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, just listen to Cog talk about it, because nobody talks about games like Cog does. He's the best. But like that is the way he talks about them is so funny. And it's true. Like you got this race of people that I hope they become like, I don't know what they do next. If Clair Obscur becomes a Final Fantasy branding and they do something else afterwards that's completely unrelated to this, I hope the Gestrels are their Moogles, because those guys are awesome. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and none of these are spoilers either. It's like they're just things that are thrown in the game.
That's not a spoiler. No.
And like there is not a spoiler, but there is one moment with I'm just going to say it's with a password that I immediately recorded it and sent it to like 3 of my friends, because I'm like, this shit, even you don't even need context to understand how funny and perfect the line delivery was for every part of this. So yeah, the game's amazing. The combat's fun. I'm with Ben. I just lit everybody on fire, and that kind of got me through the game. I don't think I dodged once. I think I was just parrying everybody and had a surprisingly not that bad time. I have not played Sekiro, and hearing people say, oh, this is basically the Sekiro parry, I'm like, all right, maybe it's time. Maybe I stop being scared and just go and play it.
Well, it's way better to parry than to dodge. Like it's way easier to dodge and you don't get as much traction out of it.
Yeah, I just found, and it's super rewarding to parry.
Right. Yeah.
And I also had Pictos that would give me health when I parried. So it was like kind of, risk, reward, but also even if I parried a couple of these combos and not all of them, I'd still come out net positive, build up some AP. Like, this it's near perfect in its design and how well it's executed. So the soundtrack is 8.5 hours long.
Dude.
8.5 hours long.
It's crazy.
And it keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. The best song is the one actually that's also, don't listen to the soundtrack if you haven't played the game. Yeah. Because that alone spoils some stuff. Yeah. So I'm not even going to finish the sentence I was going to say.
Don't look at the song list.
Don't look at that either.
You want the full context for this, for sure. Yeah.
But man, they know how to hype you up. And I love the use of the constant overture of the Clair Obscur theme, whatever that's called. And they manipulate it in ways where you constantly get the same song over and over again, but in different ways that just get you more and more hyped or, brought down depending on the mood going on. So just excellent across the board. And I love it. I really do love this game. I think about playing it when I'm not playing it. I think about playing it again. I hope it comes to Switch 2, because that's an easy rebuy. Easy rebuy, and then I'll play and do all the post game stuff, because I was so compelled by the story. I'm like, I just got to know where it ends. So I blitzed. So I did blitz to the end. I'm like, I'll get back to you. I know I will. This is a game I will happily replay.
Is there a New Game Plus?
Yes.
Yeah. Guess so.
There is.
There you
go. Derek Reedy wrote in, hello, Summon Sign crew. I have a question mostly for Brad, but the others can chime in on how they feel about it. I'm currently playing Kazan, the first Berserker, and I am noticing that there are some similar aspects to the exploration, there are some similar aspects to the Expedition 33 in some ways. The areas are corridors with some winding side paths and strong enemies and loot. The side quests are also not very fleshed out and keep meh. These things did not bother me in an Expedition, but are more noticeable now. My question is, do you think because of the order you and Hogue play these games, it could be the reason you feel less enchanted with Expedition in some ways? I mostly agree with your criticisms of 33, but I still feel it's the best game I've played in a while. Could this ordering of games be the reason, or could it just be your barely contained hatred of the French? If this analysis seems off, you can just ignore it. Love the show, Brad, and quickly becoming one of my favorite hosts. Love, Derek. It is my hatred of the French. That's what it is, guys. No, I'm just kidding. Just to be clear, I don't know why. I do like this game a lot. I think it's an awesome game and easily one of the best games of the year. I just have some gripes with it that some people don't. Like when I brought this up, being the highest rated user game on Metacritic of all time. I'm like, come on, like, okay. Sure. I don't see that at all, but you do you.
Yeah.
You do you guys.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say a big part of that is, my buddy always says it's like reality divided by expectations, right?
Mhm.
Like that's
that is definitely a big thing.
And yeah, does it deserve it? I don't know, but
who am I to decide? Yeah, it's like I wouldn't say that, but
but for something that's so universally praised, if everybody looks at this thing and says it's a 9, then I guess that's going to avoid any sort of haters. Like you've literally made a simulated RPG that appeals to everyone.
Yeah, you did. That's what I'm saying. I think this game is a great window, hopefully bringing people into the genre more.
Yeah.
And even like you were talking about Sekiro, like, oh, maybe I'll give Sekiro now. Like that's what I was kind of poking at COG about too as well. So that's good news to me. It's like, I don't give a fuck you play more RPGs. I want you to play Sekiro. Everyone listening now. It's time. You can do it. So get in there. Jason, just a lot of my complaints so far with the game. Now, I haven't finished the campaign. Like I said, I can beat it anytime. I'm just doing all the side content because I know once I finish it, I'll move on to something else. So I'm like, all right, let's really see what's going on here. And I've talked about this a lot, so I'm sorry for everyone that's heard me talk about it, so I'll keep it brief, is I just think some of the navigation is kind of boring and repetitive. They don't really throw out a lot of new ideas throughout the world. It's always just the zip line thing and maybe climbing and maybe you ride an elevator like the entire game. And for a game where I'm seeing as much praise as it is getting, I expect more from it, I suppose. So it could be that perception kind of thing kicking in there. Maybe if I play this thing in a vacuum, completely devoid of anyone's opinion, I would feel a little different, but I still think I wouldn't rate it as high as everyone else has. Now, I think it's great. Don't get mad. People are getting mad because I don't like it enough.
Why do you hate it?
Because it's French. That's why I hate it.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question to that is, what do you think would make it better? Because
if I was going through an environment and I just wasn't getting bored going through it, I suppose, and it kind of throwing new ideas at me. There's one dungeon I remember in particular that was very long, and I was like, feeling like, man, when's this gonna fucking end? Kind of thing like that. Like when I'm hitting that thing, and I still got a ways to go, it's like you got to do something here to excite me.
Yeah, I guess I think of them mostly like I would put them in line with a Persona dungeon at that point.
Oh, dude, I talk so much shit on Tartarus, you have no idea.
Okay, but I'd say even the
4, 5.
Yeah.
4 I gave shit for their dungeons as well.
Yeah, it's all window dressing, right? Like it's a means to show you pretty things that make you feel like you're on this journey. It's like, hey, look at this cool environment, fight these new enemies, and then move on to the next one. I actually am impressed mostly by, what you lose in the navigation exploration in the, let's say, the dungeons, you more than make up for it in the world map. And
I guess kind of to an extent. Like the world map I think is cool, but it's not doing anything I haven't seen before. It's not like blowing me away in that sense.
Right, but that's where you get more of your exploration, your navigation, as opposed to, hey, let's just, you can shimmy along this cliff now because it's
I just think like going through the areas themselves could be better, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think I'm going to pull the Gene line for 33 people. Did you know this game's with 33 people, man? They did a great job. I think this game's amazing. It's a really good game. I just don't hype it up as much as everyone else.
Yeah, totally fair. It didn't bother me as much. Actually, I heard
it just depends.
Because I heard Gene's comment about the platforming or you got to climb up cliffs sometimes. But I said, okay, that's fine. I don't know. I don't really know how you handle that kind of thing, because that is a whole new system that you're creating. Yeah. And it's like, what do I want out of that? Is it more like the pacing and the layout, or is it the environmental variety? Is it like maybe just end this thing and make it a little smaller and think about the pacing? I think, as opposed to this part is not engaging.
So what I think is some of it is, this is like totally player preference kind of thing, but I could see people like, my idea would be like, hey, you're in this dungeon, okay, there's some sort of puzzle around or how it works or how it maneuvers and how you get through one point A to point B. And in Expedition 33, it's far too often just walk there kind of thing like that. Nothing very exciting, or I really have to wrap my brain around and think about that. Now, some people don't like that kind of stuff, and I totally can totally see that. Maybe it'd be worse off for most people if it was like that. But for me personally, I just kind of like want more out of it.
Sure.
I do like that kind of stuff. I think for me, I actually realized last night when I was playing, I was like, this is such a beautiful environment. I just need to look around because I'm so focused constantly on what's the next fight. Because I love the fights. I love the turn-based sequences. So for me, like that's the thing that keeps me from getting bored is there's constantly something to fight. The actual navigating around the worlds, I'm like, it's like a means to an end almost.
Yeah, the boss fights are really fun.
Yeah.
Really fun. You do fight a lot of the same type of enemies, like variants of them. But they're well designed, I think, the encounters.
They're well designed, and there's sometimes when I'm defeating enemies so quickly that I don't even see their full moveset. And then there's other times where like I fought them a bunch of times and very exhaustively. And then all of a sudden they'll do something I haven't seen in like 4 previous fights with them out of nowhere. The RNG pulls out a different move than I was expecting them to pull out. And it's something I'm like, that's a cool animation I didn't know was there.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, one question on that point though, going back to the design and of the dungeons, like what would you say then is peak dungeon design?
Brad, why don't you like Expedition 33?
Yeah, Brad, why do you hate? I
told you because it's French. How many times do I have to say it?
But have you tried escargot?
No, actually,
it's delicious. It's delicious.
I'm not going to eat any trash from like the ocean like that.
But there's garlic in it. Okay,
there's garlic.
Fair enough.
There's crunchy bread. It's delicious.
Peak dungeon. I don't know because RPGs is always a tough thing when you think about peak dungeons. Because I think this is a weakness in a lot of RPGs and stuff like that. And I think some games need to work on more. It's like, I think of Final Fantasy 16, which I really liked, but it's like a lot of it was just kind of you're running through this like dungeon-esque environment. I kind of even think about some old stuff. Like, it probably doesn't hold up as well, but at the time to me, it was cool. Like, in Final Fantasy 10 or something like that, there'd be some sort of like puzzle to get through this. Like a lot of old Final Fantasy games would do like sort of puzzle-esque things to get through a dungeon and stuff like that. And I just appreciated them throwing in like a new idea, maybe just for this location or something like that, just to mix it up. That kind of stuff I want more of. Mm-hmm. So hopefully whatever their sequel they can do, because they really killed it in so many regards. It's like, I'm not like, listen, I'm not mad at these guys or anything like that. It's just like, I see their talent and they've nailed it in so many ways. I want to kind of see them flex more, and I'm sure they will in the future.
Brad, maybe the reason they didn't put more of that in there, I don't know if you knew this or not, but the game was only made by 30 people.
That's right.
Dude.
30 people. Yeah. That's true. Because it was only 30 people, that's why they couldn't put those puzzles. They didn't hire the puzzle. They didn't hire the dungeon puzzle designer.
Yeah, they didn't hire a designer for that. Yeah, gotcha.
And 31 people doesn't roll off the tongue quite as nicely, so they had to let them go. Yeah. Also, they will still be French for whatever they make next. So you'll obviously still hate that.
That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be tough. Ugh.
Yeah. Very excited. Whatever they make next, I'm there day one.
Yeah, I think
can't wait.
This is going to be a really interesting developer to see in the future because everyone's going to be throwing money at these people. Everyone.
Yeah.
And they're making a movie now, so that could be interesting. Or suck.
That movie was in development before the game came out, which
believed in. Someone believed in it.
Yeah.
And it probably that gamble seems to have paid off at least.
That'd be a great screenplay for sure.
Yeah. Cool, but yeah, I think we're the guys did a spoiler cast on it already, but I think we might do a second one in the future. I don't know. I was gone for it, but I think Dustin, Gene, Hogue, and Chris maybe did one. So if you're curious about that, it's on Patreon. But we'll see, because I don't think Colin's really played much of the game yet, so I have no idea. But yeah, it's French.
Yeah, I think he said he was like 20% of the way or something the other day, whatever.
Yeah, Mike is playing it too. So like everybody's been playing it here, which is cool. It's been fun talking to everyone about that.
I also, the French thing's funny because I did what Ben did as well. I watched the first trailer, that reveal, and I didn't watch anything else about it. So I kind of forgot it was like that they even show, like, I think the opening shot is the Eiffel Tower. And so it starts off like, oh, this game is like really French. like really
French. Yeah.
And I kind of love it. I love it. I'm not a hater like Brad hating on the French. I'm a big fan. Give me all the escargot.
Dude, someone's got to do it. All right.
Fair enough.
Someone's got to do it, man. I'll bear that cross. All All right, boys. Let's end the show with some write-ins from the audience. Now, this is going to be tricky. We're going to have to just pull these out willy-nilly right here. I'll go first, so if you two dudes want to look for any in the meantime, keep an eye out.
This is from Sam Brown question.
This is from Pair of Shoes. Yeah, you can answer. You can whatever they write in, we are obliged to answer. Hello, Kirk Brad, Ellis Deluxe, Expedition 33, and Jason Mascot Agency. You enter a pizza eating contest to see how bottomless your stomach is. But surprise, this is a team event. You can choose 2 video game characters to be on your team. What rapscallions would you choose? Enjoy the week and thanks for the fun shows. All right, this is from Pair of Shoes. So we're at a bottomless pizza eating contest. We have 2 video game characters to join us. Who we picking to scarf down those pies?
The answer's obvious, right? Well, we're all thinking it.
It's apparently not.
It's Kirby.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is
this Kirby?
Is
Obviously,
Kirby the obvious
Kirby.
one? That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I guess so, yeah.
Do you even need a second?
Yeah, because he just inhales and that's it.
The man eats. Is he a man?
No.
The pink puff swallowed a car. If you give me a car,
but he didn't fully digest it. He couldn't do it.
Well, what are the rules? Do you have to digest?
I don't know. But he just like gagged on the car for a while.
Oh, gross. I don't like that.
Hey, that's what he did.
I've got 2 lined up for you here.
Okay.
That aren't Kirby. I hate to even bring to like speak the name and enter him into existence, but I feel like Sonic could pull away some pizza. You've seen him eat chili dogs. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. You've seen Sonic eat chili dogs in the old cartoon in the early 90s. I feel like he could do some damage on some pizza. And then I don't know why, but I feel like Wedge from Final Fantasy VII. That guy could just eat some pizza. I just know it.
That's funny. I typed in fattest people in video games. Fat Princess is one I was kind of thinking of actually too.
Bowser would crush a pizza.
Bowser could crush a pizza for sure. King Hippo from Punch Out is funny as fuck.
Is it racist to say Mario and Luigi? Like, is that okay?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think
they like pizza. Who doesn't like pizza? What's racist about that? Go ahead, Ben. Tell us.
I'm sorry.
Man, I'd bring I don't know. I was thinking about it and just naming. I just kind of want Koromaru from Persona 3 to be there. He's a dog.
Yeah, and
dogs would eat a lot of pizza, and then he just seems like a cool dog to hang out with as well. So you get that perk. Man,
I saw someone say the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
It's like, okay,
thinking that too.
So that's
fair.
A good
not a video game origins. Man, I go back to my list.
Yeah.
Play too many depressing games. It's rare. You don't play these games and think, man, this guy would crush a pizza.
Yeah, that's true. What about Dante? You think Dante would crush a lot of pizzas?
With those abs?
I don't know, dude. He's always like going for pizza in his games, man. He loves pizza.
What do you think about Donkey Kong? Like, I know it's not his thing.
He could crush
things bananas,
those pies.
But yeah, okay, all right.
I was just thinking Begorons as well. I know they like rocks, but if you char those pizzas,
tell them it's a rock. Yeah,
they're big. Like, think about that big Begoron from Ocarina of Time, the one that makes you the Begoron sword.
Yeah,
like that dude.
Dude,
you back up a truckload of pizzas in his mouth.
Yeah, that guy is
game
huge.
Over, you win.
That guy's like 4 stories tall.
Yeah, think about putting down volume. Forget about fat. Think about enormous, like Godzilla.
Yeah,
from the Godzilla games.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Galactus doesn't he eat planets? He just ate all the pizza.
Yeah.
Was he in a video game? I don't know.
I'm sure he's in some video game. All right, let's get away from this question. This can go on forever. Let's see here. Did you guys find anything you popped on?
This is a bit of a long one, but I think we can blaze through it. Hey, Summoners, this is from Steven Campos. I wanted to write in because I'm almost 30. I know I am old. We're all older than 30, so Steven,
yeah, shut the fuck up, Steven.
Yeah. I've noticed that for video games, kids these days, you're a kid these days, don't understand what it was to live in a world between sequels. Here's an example of what I mean, the Harry Potter movies. If you grew up watching these movies, it makes sense that the first movie is geared towards kids, and by the time you get to the last half of the Harry Potter movies, it's made for teenagers. However, kids these days can't relate to it because they have access to all the Harry Potter movies and don't have to wait years for the next one like we did. I'm experiencing that with video games. Since today's games are taking almost 4 to 5 years to make, kids these days. He keeps saying kids these days, and I don't even know who you are, Steven, but I don't like you already. I'm just kidding. You're fine. You're probably a fine, upstanding person. Thank you.
It took all the time to write this.
I know.
Kids don't understand the evolution of playing Fallout 3 before Skyrim even existed or came out, or playing Kingdom Hearts 2 before 3 or 4 existed or came out. For us old people, we have to wait agonizing years for the next sequel. I was 15 years old when Skyrim came out, and now I could be 32 years old by the time Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. That's being hopeful. But kids these days have the luxury to play Fallout 3 and go straight into Skyrim, Fallout 4, Starfield, all in 1 year without having to experience years of waiting like we did. How does this make you guys feel? I was born in 1996. You're a child, and I have the luxury of playing games that were released in the 1980s and 90s all in 1 year without having to wait for them to be released. Does this make you feel old? Well, everything you just said, Steven, makes me feel old.
Yeah. Fuck
but
you,
what about the idea of having to having the world as your oyster? Basically, like right now, if you're coming into the age of playing games right now, you've got so much good shit to play.
Mm-hmm.
So much.
Yeah. It does make me feel old.
This is like the Netflix conundrum. This is the problem, right? You have too much. It's called decision paralysis.
Yeah.
And that's where you're at. You can never play anything. And you never play everything. And there's always too much stuff coming out. I get that. And I've played all that shit that came before when you were actually able to, pick and choose your time. Like maybe deep down, I really want to play an extraction shooter. Maybe deep down, I want to get into that stuff. But I can't because it doesn't have an ending. And every day I'm playing something like that, and I'm in that grind, I'm not making progress on a game that actually does have an ending and lets me see more content.
Yeah.
Right? And that is also what's creating a larger amount of these games that are just piling up because most kids these days are playing the same game. They're playing Fortnite, they're playing Minecraft. That's where a lot of their time is going. But that's also the equivalent of hanging out with their friends.
Yeah.
So guess what? While they're in the depths of the mines, Minecraft or otherwise.
Lava chicken. Yes.
What's that?
That's Minecraft.
Okay.
Lava
chicken. I thought it was Chicken Jockey.
There's Chicken Jockey, but there's the Lava Chicken song as well.
Cool.
La, 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 lava chicken. I have
the shortest song to ever make it to the top of the Billboard charts, apparently. Saw that on Twitter.
Oh, no.
I have young nieces and a nephew. So
TikTok is a blight. So, you're going to come out of those and maybe one day you'll grow up. You'll see all these and you'll see this vast ocean of games and you'll say, man, where do I even begin? And that's why top 100 lists exist, I guess, because who the hell knows?
Yeah. Top 100 lists are all for people our age. I wonder what 18-year-olds now have on their top 100 game lists.
Well, now they're easy. Expedition 33 is number 1.
That's right. There you go.
Except for Brad's list. That's a number. It's not even on there.
So quick story about that. My oldest, he's 11. He's played all sorts of really good games from NES all the way forward. He's, played through modern greatness, I would call. He has destroyed many Mario games. He played and beat Cuphead 3 or 4 years ago. He's a gamer, but also right now he's super into Fortnite. And he walked in and I got a new sound system. So I had taken my PlayStation downstairs to play Expedition 33 on the sound system. And he walked in and he's like, oh, is this the one you were telling me? Is this the turn-based one? I was like, when's the last time you played a turn-based game? When's the last time you weren't playing Fortnite? He's done his he's played good games. I know he knows what good games are. I'm okay with him playing Fortnite. But I was like, you need to get in and play something that's not Fortnite. Whatever. He can do what he wants to a limit, to a degree. But I was kind of hoping that maybe him just seeing me playing it would pique his interest and make him want to play something that wasn't Fortnite for a day or two.
Then he probably looked at it and was like, this sucks.
No, he thought it was really cool.
It's French. I'm out of here.
11 o'clock. I told him he had to go to bed.
Not everybody has your prejudice, Brad. But this is also the benefit of Game Pass, right? Or other subscription services. Hell, if you look at something like PlayStation Plus now, I believe they have like all of the Sony PS4 games that came out. And that's like peak. If you said, hey, you want to play like peak narrative single player dad simulator, dad simulator, it's like, this is where you want to go. You pay this, you dabble, you jump in, and you try what sticks. So at the end of the day, like, this is kind of the cheesy kumbaya version of it, is games are meant to have fun. So, you know, I joke about people playing Minecraft, Fortnite, but at the end of the day, they're having fun, they're having a good time, they're socializing, and it's and they're having a good experience. They're getting what they want out of the games, they're playing, which is just like we're getting what we want out of the games we're playing. That's why, you know, people talking shit at other people's preferences is so insufferable online.
Hey, sometimes it's fun.
It's totally
fun.
Look, I have a coworker, and that all I do is talk shit about Sonic to him all the time. He loves Sonic, but it's so much fun and it's easy.
It's easy. It's easy.
It's easy to talk shit about Sonic when it's a bad series of games. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and just the idea of like the subscription services, like kids these days, as Steven would say, don't understand. Like, they do understand, but I mean, we didn't have anything like that. We had friends that we could borrow games from. We had rental stores occasionally, but like if I wanted a new game, at the time it was like $100 for, especially during like the N64 era. The games were really expensive, and that's what I got that year, and that's what I played until
your birthday or
my
Christmas.
next birthday or yeah, exactly. So I do not envy kids these days, or sorry, I do envy kids these days because they have the world at their disposal, and yeah, maybe they will choose to play Fortnite for hundreds of hours, but if they want to, they can play all the greatest games ever made right now, and for a very low price, and that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Do you think kids these days are spoiled?
Yes.
Yeah, for the amount of games and how easy it is to get them, but I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This is from Hashrim Barakat. Good day, summoners. Do you also feel the need to finish a game on your backlog when a sequel is announced or immediately released? For me, I have Doom Eternal's DLC, Death Stranding, and Mafia 1 on the queue. I also plan to plan and get the platinum for the original FF7 when Remake Part 3 is announced. What games on your backlog are you planning to finish before jumping into the next entry of the franchise? Thank you for the amazing content always, and wish you all a great week. All right, what's something that's coming up? Sequel, could be whatever, that we gotta play the first game of, or a predecessor of.
I'll just say in general.
Okay.
In general, I'm not a completionist. That doesn't mean I don't want to finish games or see the stories out, but like, I don't feel the need to go back and play a DLC. Yeah, play a DLC or get a platinum or whatever. Like, I don't have any problem with those things, but what I have a problem with, whatever, you can play games however you want. But the thing I don't understand, much like buying merch at PAX or standing in line for merch at PAX, is people who are like, I haven't platinumed that, therefore I can't move on to the next entry. That's the thing you get the most enjoyment out of for playing games. Good on you, do that. But I'm like, if there's a new game I want to play, let me just play it. Again, story things notwithstanding.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so no, I would say there's not. More often than not, it's like I played 20 hours of Death Stranding twice and never finished it, and now that the second one's coming out, I'm like, I got to go back and finish that game, and which means I got to start it from the beginning because it's been years since I played it. So like, I'll do that, but I'd never be like, I gotta finish this DLC before I can hop into that. No, it's fine. I'll hop in, no problem.
Yeah. I tried to, but like, it's not going to stop me. Like, Kingdom Come 2 was a perfect example of, I never played the first one. I was like, man, I really want to play the first one. But I knew if I played it or started 1, I would never get to 2. It would just never happen. I knew it. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to play 2, hop in there. I'm happy I did. Just watched a little recap video on YouTube, a little context. Loved it. Yeah. Great game.
Yeah.
Anything for you, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I just did it with Ender Magnolia, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, you did.
It's the exact situation.
Yeah.
And brings up Mafia. I like that it's a prequel because I'm less compelled to play. Yeah. Do you guys ever get annoyed like I do when a sequel to a game comes out that you like really enjoyed the narrative and like, and the sequel's coming, but it's actually a prequel? You're like, oh man, I wanted to see what happened next, not before.
I remember that with like Kingdom Hearts games, because there was Kingdom Hearts 2, then they did like 4 spin-off games before 3. And I'm like, just get to the fucking normal shit right now. But they were great regardless.
Yeah. I think probably the best example of this for me is Yakuza. And I think they were very smart in one way. Like, it's so hard for me to want to jump into like the latest Yakuza mainline game because I'm like, wow, there's so much history. And I know people say it doesn't matter and you can just hop in, whatever. But it has prevented me from doing it. But when they came out with Like a Dragon, I was like, I'm there. Like coming out with those spinoffs, Judgment and the Like a Dragon series and everything, like that was brilliant because it basically gave most people, the ability to be like, cool, I'm going to hop into that now. And now they can sell games to people that they weren't selling Yakuza mainline games to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was smart. But that's probably the closest thing to that for me. Like there was a Yakuza game that came out a few years ago that was very well regarded. And I was like, well, I've not played the first 1,900 of those games. So I can't play that one. But I could. It was more of a mental barrier that I wanted to play them than that I needed to.
Yeah. Yeah. This also, it also helps, you talk about the sea of content like we were talking about with the last question, the endless riches for kids these days. It actually is a good way to filter what I will and won't play. Because if it's a sequel, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, right? That's an interesting game. Like I am wildly intimidated by playing that. And I didn't play the first one. And then I look at how much time it is. And then I look at everything else I want to play. And I'm like, okay, am I going to put how many hours into that game? What is that? At least 50 hours to beat that game or so?
Yeah.
Okay. I still haven't played Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I need to play that game. Like that is a series that I'm in and I know I'm going to love. I want to play that. I'm going to want to play other things. So I can either continue the media that I'm already in or I start new stuff and original things. I think that also contributes to something like an Expedition 33, where it's easier to say somebody, yeah, play this brand new game, this brand new series, as opposed to jumping into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is actually like a chunk of a
larger story,
a 7-piece thing if you take into account the original and Crisis Core and that movie and then remake and then Rebirth and then Dirge of Cerberus. Don't forget that guy. And then I think there was a mobile game at some point.
There was First Soldier at a point. Yeah.
Right. So maybe you have to read a book at some point. I don't know, but there
is a book.
That's too much. There is?
Yeah.
What's the book?
I think I have it on my shelf.
Is that what Cloud Atlas is about?
That's the one, man.
That is it.
Is that even a book? I don't even know what. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah. There we go. Tale of Two Pasts. There you go.
Okay. Is that new?
No. It's not brand new. No.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember when it came out, but it's not like brand new.
So I guess the thing is like, yes is the short answer to this question. I think I'm more inclined to do it when it's the second game.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. As opposed, and because the third is like, okay, with games getting longer, and I hope that's starting to change and games are getting shorter again, then it becomes more manageable. But if we're 3-4 in, like, dude, if I didn't play Remake, I wouldn't. I doubt I'd play Rebirth.
Yeah.
Right, and you kind of have to because you're literally starting in the middle of the story.
You're so connected, yeah. Some games are easier to do than others.
Yeah, it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, Final Fantasy, specifically 7, the new ones, I don't think you could do that with, but like, could you play Doom the Dark Ages without playing 2016 or Eternal? Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, probably.
I think the other big risk is if you want to go backwards, and most games get better. I'd say like it's probably safe to say, right? Even if it's just in the quality of life department. So like Blasphemous is a good example, right? it's not that I wanted to play Blasphemous 1 before 2 to get the narrative context. Same thing for Ender Lilies before Magnolia. I didn't play those before. I just knew that if I had just played the second one, I would not enjoy the first one as much, knowing what's to come and what's to improve. So you get that progression of mechanics. It's not like watching a movie where a story is still a story, characters are still characters. Techniques might change, but generally speaking, you could kind of bounce around and still have quality stories no matter where you go.
Yeah. All right, boys. I think we should end it here. A good episode. Man. Good stuff. Ben, Jason, thank you both for joining me. Before we get out, especially on this late evening, this late shoot, the night shoot.
Yeah, you need to get to sleep.
I do need to get to sleep. You guys need to get to sleep too. It's like midnight for you.
That's all right. I'm working from home tomorrow.
Okay, well.
I'm working from home every day, so it's great for me.
I do need to get to sleep. I've had little sleep. But yeah, boys, before we get out of here, anything you guys want to plug, talk about, anything like that?
Not really.
Nah.
I'll plug the same thing as last time. If you like my shenanigans and want it more Atari coded, check out the Atari podcast. I release that every other week on Fridays at noon. What's this week's going to be about? I wish I knew. I don't know, but there's some good ones out there. So check them out, especially those guys who keep writing about Night Dive. I've had them on a couple of times, and they actually have a podcast as well with way better production values. So a lot of Night Dive content out there for you. And you can follow me on Blue Sky. I'm there. Jays of Doom. You can find me. I'm basically retweeting, reposting. I don't know. Who cares? I'm there.
Yeah. Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody, and goodbye. Summon Sign is a product of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Brad Ellis. The show is produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Summon Sign, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we are grateful for your kind contribution and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.